And a big thank you, as always, to our generous supporters over at patreon.com/878survivorfm, our $10 supporters, Dick Donovan, Kenny Baker, Big Dog, Shane Murphy, our $25 supporter, Jake Snow, and our YouTube member, Kenny Baker. Thank you all so much for your generous support, and we hope you enjoy the show. And we are live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And welcome to episode 71 of the DayZ podcast. We are joined once again, as always, by our co-host, Mark. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good. How are you?
Not too bad, mate. Good video you put out this week. We'll be talking about later, the Takistan one. Yes. It was a good one to watch, mate. Yeah.
Good. Glad to make that.
And Lad, as always, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good, yeah. Been very, very busy this week, but doing very good. Awesome. Good to hear, mate. How was your first week in the new job? It's my second week now.
Second week, sorry.
But it's going absolutely wonderfully. It's such a game changer. Really, really is. Much more positive outlook on life now, which is very, very ideal, obviously. But yeah, it's doing good.
Oh, mate, a job and the economic income it provides you does wonders for people's welfare.
Oh, God, yeah. Too right, yeah. I mean, I've already benefited from an early pay, so it's gone very, very nice.
And we are joined by someone who's been a very regular viewer of the podcast since it started and often DMs me with ideas and comments on the show and things like that. The one, the only, happily married Spud. How you doing, buddy?
I'm all good, thanks, man. Just apologies, I don't have a camera at the moment, so you just have to look at.
You don't have to worry about it, so mate, you're good.
Don't need to apologise, mate. The cameras are totally optional for people if they wish to, and yeah, mate, it is great to finally have you on the show. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm all good. It's good to be on the show. As you're aware, I'm an avid viewer. I watch it most Sundays. It's part of my Sunday morning routine, so it's really good to be able to contribute towards it.
And Spud, for those who don't know, is the founder of DayZ Down Under, one of the most popular servers in the Australian or Oceanic region, Australia and New Zealand. The guy who managed to crack the code on how to get a populated first-person server. Just for some reason, us Aussies and Kiwis, they always seem to gravitate towards the third-person perspective servers, and Spud, after many iterations of trying different methods, finally managed to crack the code that he's getting queues of 30-plus people for such a small region. And what's the population of the server, Spud? How many slots?
Well, we're currently operating a hive system, so the main server is 100, and we've got Livonia as a hive, which is currently at 40. So
100 plus 30 plus people. That's pretty impressive for a first-person server in the Down Under area, mate.
Yeah, it's been going really well. It's been, we've been going for quite a few years now, so it's good to see the population. I've never been one to sort of say that for a server to be successful, you have to have a really high pop, but it's just kind of worked for us, and it hasn't detracted from what we want to achieve with the server. So yeah, it's been good.
Nice one.
Now we also have, just looking at my messages on Discord, a couple of other guests. I didn't realise there was going to be a second one, but I'm just going to move them in. God damn it. Boomer, folks. I have to apologise. There we go. We are joined by two members of the DayZ Expansion team. That is Steve, Salutesh, and Liquidrock. How you doing, fellas?
Hey. Hello, guys.
Hello.
Thanks, pal. Hello.
Good to have you here joining us. DayZ Expansion was hailed by a lot of people as the saving grace of DayZ, and then it sort of seemed to fade away, but it looks like it's coming back with a vengeance, which is good to hear, Steve.
Well, yeah, we have some pretty exciting stuff to share with you guys. Pretty exciting news, like a lot of things have changed in a positive way the past month, especially when it comes to the wishes of the hosters and the community.
Mm-hmm.
So we are here to share some details about that.
Well, you get up to wait because we're starting off with a chat with Spud first, and then we'll come to you guys. So, Spud, DayZ Down Under, mate. Now, one of the things I wanted to ask you about, most of us here have been involved in running a community and a server before. How much time in your, like, how many hours do you reckon you put into DayZ Down Under each week?
An unhealthy amount.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
The community's now, what is it? It's about 4,500 to 5,000 strong.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of management of not just the the community but the server. It's been really really good since partnering with Zyson from Stranded. So now we've got two co-owners. That's helped immensely in terms of some of the back end stuff and particularly the modding stuff, which he's fantastic at. But if managing the community, I'll be picking probably, I don't know, I'm looking at least 3 or 4 hours a day. Every day, and the weekends more, probably twice that. But it's a bit of a labour of love. I mean, at the end of the day, part of that's playing, but I love the game and I love the community that we've generated. Because
the reason I ask is I just saw a server that I've been playing a bit. Generous Has Fallen. The guy behind that has actually stepped away from it, Cosagio. Just due to the impact it has on family and all the rest of it. And a lot of people don't realise just how much it goes beyond just being a hobby, doesn't it, Spud?
Yeah. I mean, it sounds daft, but it's kind of it's a way of life. It's kind of built into my life now. As DDU is kind of like a big part of that. It's just
I remember.
I think, to be honest with you.
Sorry, go on.
Sorry, I think, to be honest with you, part of the success is the amount of time that's put into it, and I think to have a successful community, you do actually need to invest a lot of time into it.
Mm-hmm. Spud's almost like a mentor for me in the background. When I started my own server, Dean's Beans, Spud was absolutely fantastic with getting advice from and things like that. But the number one bit of advice he gave me was don't do it.
I mean, that's the soundest fucking advice you could ever have.
Yeah, he said, if it takes off, it just becomes a beast that just it's never satiated, is it, Spud? It's always after your attention in one way, shape, or form.
It is, and if you want it to be successful, it has to. I mean, this is just my view on the world, though. I mean, that doesn't mean that's how everything operates, but that's just my experience with DDU. But I mean, the main reason I said to you don't do it is because actually I believe your strengths lie in what you're doing, and I would imagine this takes a fair amount of time, and to try to do both. Would be madness to me, in my view.
Yeah, it honestly it is like this. As I talked about just a couple of weeks ago. I came close to almost quitting this because it does take a lot of time behind the scenes. But right now, as I publicly said just the other day, Marks especially has been instrumental in keeping my fire going for it. Helping me with that other beast that's never satiated, the YouTube algorithms. Marks is almost like a bit of a sensei when it comes to understanding how to make that fucking thing work. It's a terrible fucking thing, isn't it, Marks?
It is, but just have to try and what's the word I'm looking for? Try and
adapt to it.
Yeah, and scrape away at it as much as you can and try and figure out how it works, and you'll get it eventually.
So, DayZ Down Under, mate. I've got so many amazing memories. Like DayZ Down Under for me is like DayZ Underground. It just like I've got so many great memories of playing on DayZ Underground as well. But I've got more on DayZ Down Under because I pumped so many fucking hours into that community. It's just you've done an amazing job, mate. You've created one of the most interesting things that I wanted to talk about is. One of the things that will probably surprise you guys is there's no general chat in the DayZ Down Under Discord.
Good.
It's purely a utilitarian Discord. Now, do you want to talk about why you did that, Spud?
Yeah, look, our server is our community is kind of a hardcore community, but we've found this balance between hardcore and your general PvP. We do have a lot of factions, and factions can be really good for a community, but they can also breed a little bit of toxicity. And we went through this roller coaster in the community of would have periods of calm, and then there'd be things happen in game that would escalate into Discord, and it would just snowball, and then there'd be this massive implosion within. And we're not talking about in-game, in the Discord, that would be really detrimental for the community and have their flow and impact to the server. So, I mean, the decision we made was to experiment with trying to push people more into the game rather than Discord, and that we weren't operating a community that kind of wanted to be in Discord and venting in Discord. We want people, if they want to have conflict, have it in game. Don't have it in Discord. So it came to a crescendo at one point. So we just knocked the general chat on the head and told people that if they wanted to have the conflict, they do it in game, and that we tailored the Discord around a general, not having a general chat, around having a community support feedback, and it gives us the ability that if people need help, they can go in there and they can ask for help. But to push people into game, if that stuff happens, if you've got a general chat, that's really hard to find that balance between moderating it, and you end up spending more of your time moderating a Discord than you do actually running a server.
Yeah. Like it's still one that like I didn't like it at the time, but I can't argue with the results, mate. It seems to be a much more positive community now.
No, I mean we haven't had one of those implosions for a very long time, and the only thing that we've changed is that. So it's certainly something I'd encourage other communities to consider.
Right. I mean, there's a lot of communities out there, including like a few that I've ran, and there will be that one event in game which will be like somebody got killed by like a group of players or something like that, and then it just spirals, and then people start bloody flinging their dicks around on the Discord, and it's tiresome to regulate. So spot on for taking that ballsy choice and just saying to them bluntly, like, I got issues, take it in game. That's what you're supposed to do. Like, like Jesus. Yeah. So props to you on that one. I keep hearing about DayZ Down Under, and obviously me being in the UK. You don't really get many Australians playing on servers up here. So having a successful one all the way down there is just fantastic. I really, really like it, and I keep hearing really good things about it. So
just to give you an indication of like how bad things were getting at one stage, it actually inspired one of the, and I was central to this. I was one of the biggest issues that Spud had on DayZ Down Under. But this video here, when it came out, oh my God, did I laugh my ass off.
Yeah, this is a community-inspired video. Just for the green is the color for our admins in the Discord, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And all of the names here that he's chosen.
Oh no.
Fucking hell. That's
It's really good.
It was it was absolutely gold.
You can infer from that I don't have a lot of patience when it comes to the Discord crap.
The guy who made it when it came out, he was really, really nervous about it, and I fucking loved it because it was a great diffuser of what was blowing up into one of those situations. It was getting out of hand. Yeah, there was a raid that involved me, and even to this day, I'm still a bit salty about it. And it was done after hours, and it was just such a massive thing. And just this one guy managed to turn it into one of my. I've lost track of how many times I've watched that video because it's just the names in it. It was just absolutely brilliant, wasn't it, Spud?
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was interesting watching that as well because it's a kind of a nice segue into one of the next things I wanted to talk about. What you guys managed to do for Doc Satan was absolutely fucking amazing. Now, regular watchers of the show here will know who Doc Satan was. We shouted out, even though shout out's probably not the right word, but he was a guy who was in his mid-20s who got pneumonia. And unfortunately had a very adverse reaction to it and ended up dying as a result of just basically was essentially a flu. But the DayZ Down Under community rallied, and how much did you guys raise again, Spud?
Just under $5,000, 5,000 Australian. So yeah, I mean it's Doc's been one of our OG admins for a long time in the community, and he's kind of just one of those characters that everybody was so used to. So once he was gone, it was like a massive hole, like it is quite often when people pass. But we wanted to do something for the family, so we got together and we ended up raising enough to cover his entire funeral costs, which was really awesome. And I mean, it had an effect of bringing the community together too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was astounding, and I'm also going to go for that fundraiser I did as well, Spud, for my mate Moonshine. Moonshine lives in West Virginia in America, but he plays on DayZ Down Under a lot. And once I started doing the shout for it, the DayZ Down Under community again rallied, and probably at least probably a good third to half of all the money that was raised by DayZ Down Under. The community is just fucking amazing, mate. You've got an amazing bunch of people together all in one place, mate.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a team to keep the community going and generate community, but it is a fantastic community, and it's they're more than happy to give when the need's there, and that's demonstrated. But I mean, and I see Rag Tyson is in chat there, just like a big shout out for him too in relation to Doc. Both Tyson and Windstride helped us with our in-game monument too, which was fantastic.
Mate, one of the things that's always surprised me is that you've had some big name Aussie, in particular, content creators streaming on the server, but you don't really seem to have ever relied on that to build the success. If anything, probably at times, people like I'm not a big name anywhere near it, but content creators have been more of a hassle for your server. It seems, you seem to be just a bastion of the average player, as opposed to one of these communities that's created off the back of a big name person playing on them.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think the Australian market, when it comes to content creators, is quite problematic because there's not that many populated servers. So if they jump on and play on a populated server in Australia, well, there's generally only a couple of them, and with the accents and so forth, it's. It's not hard for viewers to work out where they are, and the stream sniping can become quite an issue. We've always had an ethos too around content creators of we're creating a community and a server for everyone, and content creators we consider content creators part of the community, and if they want to join in, they can join in, but we won't necessarily give them a lot of special treatment. We'll certainly enforce the rules like we would with anybody else, and it just means we have to look at extra rules such as stream sniping, but then there's also a certain amount of looking after themselves that expected of content creators in terms of minimizing the impact, and that can be very difficult. And also I think when it comes to the Australian servers. Good old Australians and New Zealanders, we've got a certain way of saying things and that, and sometimes I don't think that kind of gels a lot with the way content creators want to portray themselves on stream.
Yeah.
The thing in Australia, I thought I kind of get where Spud's going with this tall poppy syndrome, and I don't know whether that's something anywhere else in the world, but Aussies are very notorious that anyone who comes across as acting they're too big for their boots, they'll cut them down, and they'll cut them down fucking viciously, absolutely fucking brutally. It can be a very humbling experience. Oh, you're that fucking YouTuber cunt, aren't you, mate? Fuck off. Yeah. yeah.
We do love our colourful language.
It's beautiful.
Actually, technically, there goes the monetization for this episode, because they put the C word in along with N word and F words and words like that. And it breaks my heart when I see that when you're reading through the clauses. It's like, but don't they understand I'm Australian? Like the C word is my term of endearment. Hey, Mark, how you doing, you cunt?
Yeah, there goes next week's.
Oh, fuck.
So what's the biggest challenge for you looking to the future, Spud?
Probably maintaining the momentum in terms of the amount of time in the community, and that's kind of why, that's a big reason for merging the communities with Stranded, is to provide that extra support as well in terms of running the server, because I suppose the amount of time I'm putting in is not sustainable going forward. I mean, there's other priorities in my life IRL, but yeah, I mean, in terms of the community and development of the community, we're going in a pretty good way. I'm really quite happy with where we're at. We've found that balance, as you're aware, between hardcore and PvP. Some people won't necessarily like it, but also the use of the hive system allows us to kind of meet the needs of different playstyles a lot more, whereby our Livonia we've made into a very hardcore server. So a lot of people just hang out there, but we've kind of made it so you have to travel between the two for certain items and things like that. So in terms of the actual gameplay in the server, it's in a pretty good space, I feel.
Yeah, it is, mate. Yeah, it's I've said it to you a few times, but Mark, it's such a special thing. Like, having played DayZ in Australia since DayZ Standalone first come out, and the guys I used to play with, like Vanguard and Vigilante Gamer and that, our one thing we always hated was Pipsy did have a first-person server back in the day, but other than a couple of memorable nights, it was a ghost town. And to finally have a populated first-person server, Marks, in this region with our small player base, it's a great for Australia.
Yeah,
and New Zealand. Nice. Sorry, I can't forget New Zealand, being that Spud's a Kiwi.
Got to be nice to have something that you can all play on and enjoy, and glad it's going well.
It is. Spud, is there anything else that you want to talk about with your server, mate, or any pressing topics that you've wanted to address? Because you're quite an avid consumer of the podcast, and you usually have feedback for me after every episode. Is there any topics at all that you've wanted to discuss?
I suppose the only topic I'd like to mention is just around the modders and financial compensation, because I've certainly been. I know this is something that's covered quite regularly on here, but I'd just like to weigh in with my support behind modders and getting financial compensation, because, I mean, personally, I've had a lot of contract stuff made by various modders. I've certainly got an ethos around quality over quantity, and I like paying to get quality mods made for us, but also I've got no problems with modders being able to kind of generate an income from what they do, because they've got to be, they're artists, and I just don't see why they shouldn't be compensated for it. And personally, I've always, since we first started DDU and started using mods, every month I would select. We can't afford to obviously donate to every modder every month, so I've donated to a modder once a month. for the last few years, and just randomly choose a different modder that we run mods from. And yes, we've paid for other mods too, and some contentious mods we've paid for. Helicopters. Yeah. But yeah, I've got no issues with it, and we chatted a little bit about a DLC and a whether Bohemia would allow a paid DLC. And I just wonder whether if there's more motivation behind not for BI around allowing a paid DLC, so a group of modders such as Expansion, who did a fantastic job getting together and creating something even bigger than Expansion. I just wonder whether there's more motivations, and maybe it relates to the the next product they're going to release, and it's probably not in their advantage to actually have a larger paid DLC.
That's kind of jumping a bit ahead of a topic I've got in the agenda, I'm pretty sure. Give me 1 second. So, yeah, I did a poll. Let me just bring that up. We all know how much I love my polls. Not really a poll, but I asked for feedback from folks. Why is DayZ not really supporting... why is BI not really supporting DayZ as much as you'd expect? For, Marks, you did last week, you talked about the figures for the number of purchases of DayZ and Livonia and stuff like that. Yet we're all aware it's a skeleton crew of staff. And Spud actually reached out to me with he kind of summarised it then, but that his thoughts is along the lines, and that's what inspired me with this putting this question, is that the best one I've heard is that they want the maximum possible wow factor for Armour 4 when it is released. The full benefit of this infusion engine that was developed for DayZ with money made from DayZ. So, I was actually kind of surprised when modders first explained to me that DayZ is not 100% infusion. It's this bastard mix of the two of them. And it does make you think, wow, okay, are they holding back? Is that why we're not seeing a fix on vehicles? Because they won't release an Armour title. Steve, I'll go to you for this one, mate, but they won't release an Armour title without working vehicles, will they?
Well... this topic is kind of only speculation. Like all
100%.
All we know to this point is that they actually work on an unannounced military simulator. So, and that this will probably 100% use the full infusion engine that we haven't seen yet. Because DayZ just is a mix up of infusion and armor, basically, so not real infusion.
Yeah.
Like when we look at the past patches, I can imagine that they will just give up on DayZ and don't care about the problems that are still here, that the game still has. Like when we look at the last patches from especially this year, I think they did a pretty good job to at least provide.
They're doing an amazing job. Like I want to reiterate, like we did last week, this is not saying that the current dev team is shit. Far from it. In my opinion, they're the best dev team DayZ's ever had. Just the sheer volume of updates, and every update seems to be a good meaty one as well. They're not token updates. They're doing an amazing job, but it just makes you think, Spud, if these guys had, double the amount of people, just what could they be putting out? But your little conspiracy theory almost, it's probably the most logical one I've heard, Spud.
Yeah, look, I mean, and don't get me wrong, I'm certainly not anti the dev team. I think they're doing a fantastic job, and there's a lot of stuff that is fixed every patch that they may not put in the change logs that you just find out during the course. And I think they're putting a lot of effort into it. But if I just think from a commercial point of view, if I'm working on an unannounced military simulator, I'd certainly be holding back some of the stuff, some of the really good stuff for that wow factor. I don't want to put it all out now, and then when the new engine, the full infusion engine comes out, and this next product comes out, and people end up going, oh, we've already got that, and so I mean, to me, from a commercial point of view, it makes sense.
What do you reckon, Mark?
I mean,
it makes sense, but yeah, I don't know. They just need to, if they were going to release this new military sim, they have to do it soon, because there's only so much people will take of DayZ before they
That's true.
they start to quit. Because what you're seeing that now in a bigger game that's out at the moment with Call of Duty. The devs are lacking on that game, and now people are quitting it. All the big streamers are going somewhere else, and the same will happen here eventually if they don't do something to it. People just get sick of it and they'll move on. They'll go play Scum. There'll be an update now that'll come out for Scum, and it'll just blow everything out of the water, and you'll see people migrate there if they don't do something within a year.
What do you reckon, lad?
I mean, to be perfectly honest, I do agree with Spud's ongoing theory that it doesn't make sense to dedicate time and effort towards a mix match of a bunch of engines to implement certain features that are going to be in the full infusion, as Steve was saying as well. So the only thing that the dev team can do right now is just to keep bringing out updates that fix the core running issues affecting the game to try and make it as polished as possible in time for the Armour Reforger or Armour 4, whatever they're going to be bloody calling it, whichever comes first. So, and then go on from there. Like I've said before, when that game releases, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody tries to implement a DayZ mod for Armour 4.
Yeah.
Especially if it contains a lot of aspects that DayZ currently has, and like in terms of movements and stuff like that, because DayZ is obviously known very well for its fluidity and movement, somewhat. But what were you going to say, Steve?
I mean, for all the time they already work on that, and in my opinion, it would be kind of retarded if they not already work on, let's say, DayZ 2.0 next to Armour 4.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, like it would be kind of retarded if they don't go that way next to their simulator, because they have the trademark, they have all that they need to make that, and the potential, the player base is there. So
look, to me, it makes sense, Liquidrock, that after the unannounced military simulator Armour 4 is released, that at some stage they'll release DayZ as a mod for it. It's a great way to monetize it again, and get people buying. I know modders will probably make it, but if they release an official DayZ mod, it's going to be an easy win for them to make a few extra dollars. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think so. I'm hoping so, actually. Maybe a DayZ 2.0 with the new Infusion engine. This would be really nice and would make sense, like Steve said.
Yep. You were going to say something, Mark? Vlad?
Mark,
go ahead,
go first?
No, go ahead.
Okay. But see, that's the thing. Like in terms of like logical sense, like an official version of DayZ 2.0 or whatever they're going to bloody call it, if they do ever go down that path, would make sense once Armour 4 is hit. And even if they do decide to be like, look, we're no longer supporting DayZ properly, we're only going to be doing like bug fixes from now on. Just let the modders fucking make DayZ 2. To be honest, like let's just put it this way. Yeah, I mean, what all modders, including myself, we are like, I mean, I'm pretty sure you agree, Stephen Liquid. Like we are waiting for the full Infusion engine.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, like, clamoring for it. So hurry up, Bohemia, please.
Okay, I'm going to ask a question now for all of you modders in chat, and Spud's a little bit of a hobby modder as well, so I imagine he'll have some input on this. And it is addressing a topic that is a bit further down in the podcast, but lad, I tagged you on it. I hope you saw the tag and were able to do some research on it. But how compatible are the mods being made for DayZ, which is using the Infusion engine, going to be for this is, I don't even know if you guys are able to answer this, but how compatible will they be with the full Infusion engine when it's released?
Well, considering DayZ uses a multitude of engines to, because it still uses the RV engine for the RV materials and textures and stuff. As far as I'm aware, I could be wrong on that, Steve. You might be you probably are more knowledgeable on that front. But I don't think mods for DayZ will be compatible for Arma 4. Not at all. If it is purely just Infusion, and it is just that, then no, they're not going to be compatible. At least not without some weird workaround. But to be fair, with Infusion comes a completely brand new technology in order to create mods. So why would you port DayZ mods to it? Why not just remake it in a much better way, in a much more stable way? Because, having to rely on a bunch of engines just to create what you want to create is bloody annoying. So, but we'll just have to see. But Steve, Liquid, what do you think?
Go on, Liquid.
Pardon, sorry?
Well, it's a good question. I mean, not really sure what to expect. So I think what Lad said is correct. We don't know, and I think it will probably not be very compatible or not compatible at all. So we'll just have to wait and see what comes our way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether you're aware, Liquid, we're getting some really terrible feedback through your line, mate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you just might have to move the microphone a bit closer to you. It's just a lot of stack in the background.
Yeah, I'll try that. Is this better? Maybe
No.
Test.
No, it's almost like feedback from a mic. You sort of.
Is it static? Is it?
Yeah, it's like a electrical line stack kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
That's all right. We can still hear you, but I was just letting you know. Yeah, Spud. It's definitely an interesting one because there's still so much life left in this game, and we all want to see it just grow from strength to strength. And like Marks, you mentioned Scum. I don't know how much of a crossover there is, honestly, and this is coming from someone who loves both games. They're just. Everyone likes to compare them, but they're so different at their cores. I don't think they've really got anything to worry about in that respect. I think if there's some other title out there with a bit of wow factor to it, that the day before or whatever, if that doesn't turn out to be a scam title, and that might be one that would draw a lot of the content creators away because it looks quite impressive. I don't think Scum would do that. Scum's going to appeal for a certain sort of player base. But what are your thoughts on that, Spud?
Sorry, I was on the phone. I didn't hear what you said.
Okay. Mark, what do you reckon?
It depends. You never know. Could happen that it all depends what updates they bring out. Scum could take off on Twitch and become the most popular, most watched game out there, and then DayZ content creators are going to want to have a piece of that, and they're going to go over there. You see it with Tarkov. A lot of DayZ players went to Tarkov, and they're doing great over there now. We just never know. Could happen. Might not.
Yeah, Tarkov seems to be going through a bit of a negative thing at the moment. I'm seeing quite a few people complaining about something on Twitter. Anyone know what that's about?
No,
I've not been keeping up with Tarkov at all. I don't play it, so
no, it doesn't interest me because it's a looter, which interests me, but it's pure PvP. There's no voice chat or anything like that, so it doesn't hold any appeal for me. Look, it looks great, and I have no doubt it's a good game, but it's not one that's in my sphere of games that I would potentially look at playing and buying. Fair enough. Then what we will do is we will now move on to Steve and Liquidrock. Now, you guys have got some exciting news for us with, because like I said a bit at the beginning, mate, DayZ Expansion. I think it was even Psy Syndicate did a video. This mod is going to save DayZ, and I did a big interview with you guys as well, and everyone was blown away. And then it all just seemed to fade away.
Yeah, well, things were not running as expected. We run into a lot of issues, like for the hosting perspective, let's say. People had problems with setting up the servers, like had a lot of the time problems getting certain aspects of the mod running, or had a problem that they just don't wanted certain stuff of the mod. So they had no intention to like put a whole mod package on their server if they don't use like 50% of it, not, let's say. So we had to do a lot of work on our side and on the mod to make things different and to split certain parts of the mod in different smaller mods, let's say. So what we did is we have basically created a kind of core module and core mod that is basically needed for every single other mod that comes from our project. And this controls and includes all the features that are needed to let the other mods run, so they can work separated from each other. So let's say you just want to run our vehicles. That's now already possible, like on stable since a few months already, that you can run the helicopters and our vehicles just with the core and the licensed mod and nothing else. So if you're not aware about that yet and you want helicopters and don't want to mess with any mods that circling around on the workshop, I don't know, so many actually that are circling around about that Night Wolf helis recently. You can also just use the standalone vehicle mods and licensed mod now next to core, and that will not add any big other content to your server. What the core mod basically includes is some stuff like the notification system from expansion, so small script parts, some assets like icons that can be used, like also in your own mod, let's say, but get used for the notifications especially, and in certain other mods when they are loaded. Like, for example, on experimental, we have now basically an experimental branch for each mod that helps a lot to prepare the next stable update that we are working on since a few months now, like since the whole COVID situation started. And the content is and update will be pretty big, and the community is a huge help testing out the current experimental changes we have done so far. And it's a good opportunity to us to change the stuff to the user needs. And so far, we pretty much ready for stable, and are happy that we can basically say that the mod should get a second chance for everyone if he wants to take a look at it again. But at the end, everyone has to make their own decision if they want to keep it or not. We have made sure that we provided like every kind of documentation for like everything that is possible in the mod now, and also to make sure that Like if you don't wanna use certain aspects of the mod, you don't have to use them. That doesn't include like everything yet. Like we have the territories and party system in the main mod that we are planning to also separate and make like a standalone project. But so far on experimental, we have what? Sorry.
At some point, the territories and the party stuff.
At some point, not with 1.6, but with 1.6 we have make sure that we separated the vehicles, the book menu, if you remember that one from expansion, and also the new market system that is coming with this update. Markets and traders made by DayZ Expansion, where I probably should start give the word to Lava, and also we should start share our screen if you guys want to say something about that.
Yeah. Because I remember it was a little while ago now. I done some testing with Not a Banana on the trader, and it was very, very interesting what you guys have got going then. It was very, very nice, and I am very happy that hey, look, Takistan.
What's going on?
That you guys are still continuing working on it, because I know, and I mean, obviously, like when it first came out, the launch wasn't the best.
Oh no, yeah.
And there was a lot of mixed messages in regards to it, and there was a lot of questionable mindsets back then. But I am very happy to see that it's gone a different direction. You're actually making it proper modular, and I can tell that there's a lot of servers who literally they don't want to pay some scamming arsehole $200 odd just to get helicopters that barely fucking work. So top notch on your lad there. Right, let's see this shit. Go on, show us.
So I don't know where I should start. The most great and biggest update that comes with the 1.6 update is basically the market and traders. It's kind of different from what you might know from the trader mod that is currently on the workshop, or what you might have seen. I don't know who also worked on traders so far. I think a guy called Dimitri and one also worked on traders.
Yeah, Dimitri's got the Trader Plus. He works closely with Extricator.
Oh yeah.
Maybe Lava, maybe you just take over. Explain how.
Yeah, okay. So
works.
Our trader mod is originally this is based on work by Jacob, I believe. Many people have worked on this. It's a bit of a long process, so it wasn't even clear that we would release the trader this year. But it's gone a long way since then. We are almost finished. Trader itself, I think there will be no changes anymore. For stable. And it has a lot of features that the current trader mod on the workshop doesn't have. For example, you can have stock for the individual items. You can have the stock price being influenced by set stock. And as you can see, the menu allows you to filter by categories. And there's different traders which sells different items. And the sell price is also affected by the item state. So if something is damaged, then you can only sell it for a lower price. And there's also a lot of stuff going on with the menu. As you can see, we have a preview for the player, so you can try out clothes when you wear them. Yeah.
And so the just as a question in terms of performance, the icons that you have on the left, are they obviously? I would assume they're rendered in real time. They're not like images or anything, right? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So, how this basically works? And this is a basically a kind of market zone, when you want to call it. This is determined by a position in the radius, and it controls basically the persistency of each stock of the item within the zone. So what you can do basically is create different market zones on your map that will have different stock whalers depending on the zone. So let's say you want to have only a zone with your, I don't know, bandit traders, with certain traders that sell special items. These will have a different stock if they are on a different location on a map. Then, in a other trader area on a different location, even if the item is the same. So, and how the stock is controlled is basically, by the player. I can, by default, as a server owner, set a default stock whaler for each item. But if you set it to like 0, the trader will only sell basically what the players will only give the players that what the players also sell at the trader. So if there is no I don't know, civilian belt getting sold by a player, the stock will just stay at 0. What makes this kind of player
driven,
economy based, and player driven.
You can. If you want to,
You can. You don't need to, but that's optional. But the stock is always influenced by basically what the people sell and buy there.
So how reliant is this mod on the other? Is this going to be a standalone mod that you just need the license mod for?
Needs core.
Yeah, it will just work with the core mod and with Depth's framework. So that's a mod that maybe some people actually know already. That's needed for DayZ editor made by Tyler, aka Deb, increment Deb. What we need for the actual OI to work properly. It's also getting used for the book since we completely reworked it, and that's the only requirements. And if you just load these 3 mods, the default configurations will also just generate like the items for all the vanilla stuff. Like no expansion items will mess up your configurations or so on. So every module that you load next to the market will influence that default configuration that you then can later on alter to your needs.
How does this look as a trader to you, Spud?
No, it looks pretty good. Yeah, yep. I mean, we dabbled with, we had Dr. Jones do a module for us around stock, and we dabbled with that, but he ended up removing it. It's a hell of a lot of configuration that needs to go into that to get the balance just right.
That's true. We have done so many additional changes because we get a lot of requests, like people wanted to influence prices in certain aspects. Like so far, the price will get influenced, like the buy and sell price, by the current stock of the item and its condition. And what are the other types that can influence the price, Lava?
I think that's about it. But you can, for example, also really configure which items you want to use as currency. And the only requirement that you have for a currency item is it has to be stackable or it has to have quantity. You can use anything. that has these two, either of these two properties. So if you want, for example, a trader that only takes, let's say, metal plates as a currency, that you can do that.
Or bullets.
Nails,
bullets, right.
Nails is one I've always thought. Most servers with traders have building on it because people love their little fortresses and all the rest of it. And using nails is, nails actually have a tangible use, and which helps drive the economy for them. It's something that the trader can sell. The value of one nail, and it adds an extra value to bases as well. People raiding your base to steal the nails from by destroying your walls and things like that. And it's oh shit! I just had a question and derailed my train of thought. Is the economy dynamic? As in, the lower the stock is of an item, the higher the cost is going to be? Or is the cost of items just static?
Yes. It's fully dynamic, and you can also configure it, which means you can set which the highest price should be and which the lowest price should be. This is influenced by the stock that the trader currently has.
Okay.
And optional... Yeah, sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to ask, and this might be a bit of a stupid question, but say, for example, you have multiple traders that, say, for example, you want 3 traders that want to sell the same exact thing, but at different prices. Now, I haven't dabbled in much trader configs, so you will have to bear that in mind. With this system, would that even be possible because of the dynamic prices and whatnot? Or would you have to do a little bit of an extra step to get that to work? So, if you want to sell an M for a tier 1 trader, it's 5,000 rubles, but you want a tier 3 trader where you can get that cheaper if you find it. Is that possible with this system?
Yes, that's possible. You do that with zones in this case.
Right, okay.
The best solution, yeah.
Right.
Oh, you can change the color and everything. That's cool.
Skins, our expansion skins are added by default, and you can also add variants on your own, which can be any item.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's really cool. Okay.
Yeah, because as as somebody who develops for XDK, and we work closely with Dimitri on his Trader Plus mod, there's a lot of similarities between what you guys have developed and what he's got going as well. So it's really, really nice to see how people implement or go about things in their own unique way. So I really, really like what this offers, and I would assume that the whole aspect of this mod is very highly configurable, so you can adapt it to any way you want. Right, gotcha. Because I know in the past, and if memory serves me rightly, that wasn't so much the case. I could be wrong there. I'm not too sure. But this is very nice.
That was always the main issue that a lot of people had, with all the customization options we provided. And right now, I can imagine it could be also pretty hard for someone that isn't really used to set up his own stuff in the trader. But thanks to our great community, we have one guy that is already working on a really great tool for that. His name is, I want to shout him out real quick.
Yeah, of course.
Shominator, I think. I'm hoping I'm not butchering his name.
This is his name. He also shared a few links. Let's see if I can find an image real quick.
And what was the tool that he was developing? Was it the CE editor, or am I completely ballsing that up?
Well, the CE editor from Link also will provide support for the market. So you also will be able to even import your current trader mod configuration if you want to, and take it over and make the necessary changes to your needs that are necessary. But both tools will at the end have that. I think for Link, it's just a problem right now that he's pretty busy with some real life stuff right now, and his PC got recently damaged, if I remember correctly. So he's unable to work on anything.
Not good at all.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there it is.
Hey, Steve, just a quick question around your NPCs.
Yeah.
Have you done anything with your NPCs around server performance? Because I mean, certainly with the normal trader mod, there's a degradation of server performance, the number of NPCs you have.
Yeah, we thought about that. You can also have static objects as traders. And this requires a little bit of configuration, meaning a small mod or a small server mod. But there you can just insert your objects and have anything basically as a trader. Right. Even just for fun, made a trader that's basically a zucchini. So
is that why people use vending machines instead of?
It is.
Yeah. That vending machine thing is so stupid, but I know it's just so ugly.
It is. It's hideous. It does not make sense at all. A fucking ATM machine or a vending machine in the middle of
I know the Stalker Z mod. They have a model of one of the characters from the Stalker series as the trader. Yeah. Very uncanny valley because obviously it doesn't move. There's no animations. It's just static, but it does the job to at least imitate it pretty nicely. So, if you have that option to do that, then fucking nice.
Well, yeah, before I forget that, you can also have AI. If you use the EAI mod, then you can even have AI as traders, and they will move if you set waypoints.
Traveling trader.
So this is still early in support because the EAI mod, of course, is also relatively early.
It's not final yet.
It's still coming on. It's coming on.
What also makes it possible that they can have a weapon in their hands, for example. Is not possible with these kind of static NPCs, let's say. As you can see, this is a great example for a static trader. The exchange thingy here will work as a trader as well. And it's just, basically when it comes to the server-side configuration, the same thing as for the NPCs.
I wonder, could you, if you use the AI mod, this might be doable down the road, where you could set up the AI to have a gun, and so, like, say you had a black market trader where there's no safe zone and zombies roll into the market radius, whatever, that the AI would be able to shoot zombies, kill them as you're doing your trading. It's like
that will actually work. I think this is already working.
That'd be cool. That's cool.
Yeah, because they, as far as I know, they already have factions implemented, and as long as that NPC, like that trader AI, has the correct faction, they will shoot the zombies.
Right.
Yeah, the default AI traders will shoot zombies. Obviously not in safe zones, because these zombies will be removed in safe zones. But if
it was like a black market, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
It would be really cool if if you kill infected in that zone that traveling trader is in, and you kill the infected around that trader, you get a discount for protecting him or something like that. That would be that would be very nice.
I don't know if this thing you've ever going to do, or I don't know if you're going to work on this with the EAI mod, but is there ever going to be down the road where expansion will have AI missions?
Hopefully.
Used to an Arma 2?
Hopefully, like, our mission system has the potential to easily implement that, actually. We just had not the time yet to really look into that, because we really wanted to focus on the stuff we had done so far and get that ready for stable now. And after 1.6 we might can take a look at that further. And I mean, Raelian, which is the creator author of Infusion AI, is actually a member of our team and also had plans to implement certain stuff within expansion for so to make use of the EAI mod.
That would be
So
yeah. If that ever comes out as an update, that would be, I think, very popular. Some people, the purists, wouldn't like it, but I think a lot of PvP servers would like, and PvP players would like that as a feature down the road.
Yeah.
Oh yes, definitely.
we just don't want to make the same mistake. Like we had so much stuff in the mod that made people very excited, but at the end, a lot of stuff were just kind of work in progress. Implementations somehow make them work. It wasn't ready, and we have learned a lot from the past, from our mistakes. Have had to do a lot of work on our let's say workflow. And hopefully with this update, as soon as it releases, we
I want to cut you off here, Steve, because I've followed expansion quite closely, and one of the things I had said to me was that you were one of the best things that happened to the expansion mod, that you came in and you helped put in place those structures you're talking about. So, I'm not going to say who said that to me, but that was one of the bits of feedback I heard, that you were one of the best things that ever happened to the expansion mod, mate, because you came in and you identified those issues and you started putting structures and that in place to, take it from being that, sort of unguided ship that it was, and gave it some good direction. So hats off to you, mate.
I mean, I think you kind of, it was more like Lieutenant Master you're talking about here. I think he actually, in my opinion, took the real structure into this project, built it up the wiki, implemented a lot of documentation, started restructuring the project basically. So I was the founder and project lead until to a point where I realized I can't really make it by myself. And then a kind of restructuring process happened thanks to Lieutenant Master. And the past months, Lieutenant Master and Liquidrock took a lot of work to fix certain aspects on the mod that were really, broken, let's say.
I think you're actually right as well. My memory is like a goldfish, mate.
It's okay.
I think it was Lieutenant Masters that I said. So, Lieutenant Masters, I take my hat off to you, buddy.
See, because another question I want to ask as well, how many of the original developers from the first release are actually still working on the project?
I wanted to ask that as well. Good question.
Yeah, because I heard, I could be wrong, and I'd like to be wrong, a lot of them jumped ship shortly after it hit because they didn't want to bother with it. But words gone. What about that?
Well, I mean, I don't know how long it is now, but on the mod recently only worked like 4 people. That included me, Liquidrock, Lieutenant Master, and sometimes Jacob, and also Not a Banana took their hands for certain stuff into it, like the the character scene updates we got implemented recently were made by Not a Banana.
Right.
Jacob got rid of a lot of bad, let's say script references. Don't want to get into details here, but
no, of course.
They were pretty bad. And apart from that, Liquidrock and Lieutenant Master have done a great job restructuring and putting the mod apart into these separated modules that are on experimental available right now. You can right now, as this server stands here in front of me, test that on a test machine if you want to, and make your own image about the changes, like how the helis work now, how the boats work. Like, okay, we still have a few issues with one kind of boat that is the little
TLDR. The PBX is still fucked.
yeah. But apart from that, vehicles are DayZ vehicles. So
yeah, I mean, no matter what you do to them, you're never going to get around DayZ vehicles and how they're structured right now. So
there was a ton of talk about expansion vehicles becoming server side. Is there any client side, whatever the good one is?
Yeah.
What's the situation with that? There hasn't been much news since. Is there work being done on it, or what's the story?
So the work is still on hold since the latest work has been done. Like, all that is actually working and in the mod is a little test bike here that works pretty bad. I don't even know.
It's a little bit janky, yeah.
If I can spawn it here right now.
It does work somehow. Yeah.
I remember when expansion before the first release came out, that one of the major things was touting was client side vehicles, which I was very excited about, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other people were. So, in all honesty, like it is disappointing, but it is understandable, because I would take an educated guess that if you were to trying to take it to client side, you pretty much have to rewrite that entire part of the engine, like that engine piece of code. So a lot
of that has been already done. Like Jacob is the one that is actually has actually worked on that, but he's pretty busy with other certain projects on community online tools and community framework right now. And I just asked him today about the topic. Actually, I hope he watches the stream and just gets tears in his eyes when he sees that.
We need to find a way to bribe him, man.
Yeah, we just need to recover his mood to work on that, because no one else from the team right now could take over his work. Actually, it's because it's completely
we're a little bit lacking on the manpower side. That's the issue.
Yeah, time is our worst enemy.
So I have two more questions. They're both expansion related. So, are you going to, in the future, work on improving base building, or are you going to add any more things to base building? What's the situation there? And then weapons as well. Is there any new ones coming in, or any animations being worked on there? They're the two kind of main ones I also wanted to kind of know about.
So when it comes to weapons, we have not really any plans for new weapons yet. When it came to base building, we had very big plans to make changes on that, and some parts of the work has been done already to start the support of tiers.
Okay.
But the problem is our modular, so I can maybe speak open about that, just ghosted us, that promised to work on that models, and since then the status on that is basically on hold.
So you're got screwed over by you're the person who makes the models for stuff. Right. That's annoying to.
Well, that kind of segues into the next thing I want to talk about. I see you guys have still got your Patreon. I've linked it in both the YouTube and the Twitch chats. tell us a bit about the Patreon for DayZ Expansion Mod, mate. What does it do? What does it get people? What does it do for you guys?
Well, we haven't really any big perks for the Patreons, except from that they get the support status in our Discord and get access to like our Discord channels, like the hoster channels and private testing channels, and so they can share information together. We can stay in contact with them, and I mean, right now the money that we get from that, I don't want to talk about it. It's drop on a hot stone, let's say. But we never did that for the money. We have found it. People can see that actually, in the sense that mod has been released like already 4 years ago, maybe. I don't even know right now. Like $7,000 US dollars, and have invested a lot of that money in like the test servers that we had running, into assets that we brought for the mod, like what was it? A lot of props. We have. To be honest, I know it's an elephant in the room for some people, but those people, in my opinion, need to pull their heads out of their ass. Here on this show, we fully support modders being compensated, and I don't just mean modders being compensated so they can, pay for the models that they need, but also I've got no problem if you guys want to fucking buy yourselves a carton of piss and fucking pizzas and sit in Discord and just fucking have fun. It's the money that is given to you guys as a thank you for creating whatever mod you're working on. So don't feel you need to justify. If anyone sits there and says, but what about all the money they made? So fucking what? Well, it's always I mean, hard topic, because
it shouldn't be.
All the rumors that are around about expansion, thanks to
there we go. Hookers and cocaine. Go and get yourself a bunch of hookers and cocaine. Record a video and upload it to YouTube so we can all see you having fun. If money is the ultimate motivator for most people, and if it keeps you guys working on what, quite frankly, is still an amazing mod, yes, it had its problems, yes, it had its hiccups, but you're admitting that and you're working to change that. I don't give a flying fuck what you guys do with the money. That's for you guys to sort. If I give you money, that's my prerogative. If someone's given money and they feel that they've been robbed, pull your head out of your ass, mate. Come on. They've delivered. They didn't quite deliver everything that they said, but the choppers. I still remember flying them on DayZ Down Under. They were great. I had a chopper pilot who used to be in my chat all the time. He's absent now for personal reasons, which kind of worries me. But he said they were the best choppers he'd seen in any of the DayZ mods. So, guys, give them a bit of gratitude. Still keep it supporting. Consider going in and signing up for that Patreon. As soon as I get a few more dollars, I'm going to sign back up, because I quit mine because I just didn't know what was going on. I thought you guys were dead in the water. And then to hear you guys had come back made me fucking very happy, mate, because I'm a big supporter of the expansion mod. You guys created a massive hype for DayZ.
I mean, expansion certainly did help a lot with population. I remember when expansion did come out, I was, messing around with helicopters. The biggest pain that I experienced with expansion was trying to adapt it to a hardcore survival server, which obviously expansion was not designed for. So that was very much a pain, especially considering the state expansion was in back then, when it launched. But now, with how modular you guys have made it, and I mean, money in modding is, no matter how you approach it, it's always a very, very difficult situation, because there's a lot of people who on Patreon or whatever, they donate money and they expect a product, and when that product doesn't meet their expectations, no matter how transparent you are, they're always going to bitch and complain. It's a fact of life, unfortunately. But you guys, you're trying your absolute best, despite the odds stacked against you, in terms of time and manpower, as you've said, and you're trying to still create a fantastic mod that is modular, as you promised at the start, that has got, eventually client-side vehicles. Like, you got helicopters working in a game that was never really designed for it. No matter how many, bloody previews that the DayZ dev team way back when showed off, it was never going to bloody happen. And once the vehicles, you've already said that the expansion vehicles are already, is a standalone mod, obviously, with the requirements of that. I'm really, really hoping more people take notice of that, because there's a lot of misinformed people. I mean, to be fair, I thought they weren't standalone yet. Oh shit, that was rough.
That is a little bit rough, yeah.
It's really hard only in third person.
Yes,
that's true.
I'm hoping more people do take notice of the fact that it is standalone, because there's a lot of, I wouldn't say there's a lot of people out there, but there are certain individuals in the community who has previously profited off of bad helicopters and bad code, and you guys have actually made it completely free for everyone to use, and that's a fucking top-notch decision, to say the least. So obviously with 1.06, you've got the traders, which are very nice. Is there any really big notable features that you'd like to show off to us, or anything that you've got going, or anything you want to hint at, or anything like that?
Well, obviously the book has been changed a lot, and has right now, let's say, work in progress tab that is new, that is the crafting recipes. What maybe is for a few people again a casual aspect of the mod, but for me, even if I work on that game for 4 years already, I have seen recipes in here that I wasn't aware about. It displays you basically all the crafting recipes that are possible in the game, and the different ingredients that you can combine to get at the end the result that gets displayed here. What we also want to do, but will not come with 1.6 now, is that you basically also can prepare the crafting if you have the items in your inventory. But just one little thing that is, as everything else, optional. You can just disable that tab, and the whole thing will not even mess with anything on the client or server.
So that's really cool. I mean, I like the concept for sure. It's really nice to see, because it's you got a lot of casual players who just they don't want to learn all the things, and I'm both on the side of give them a hand, but on the other side, get fucked, learn the game, stop being a pussy kind of thing. But what you've got there is nice. I like it. Yeah,
I wouldn't underplay the value of the likes of the crafting recipes in the book, and the potential the book has, particularly for a community like ours where we've tried to push people out of Discord. So those are the sort of things that bring people into Discord. So the more of that stuff in game, I actually think they're really valuable.
You speaking then, Spud, just made me think of something as well. Is that something that can be customized, Steve? Because I know servers like yours, Spud, you've got a lot of custom recipes that if people don't join the Discord, they won't be aware of how to craft storage and things like that.
Actually, yes.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
It's, I need basically to pop the settings up real quick here, I think. Hold on. Get me. So this is the whole profile folder of my local
can't see
server
it.
right now.
We can't see it.
That-
Doesn't show, yeah.
Oh, hold on.
Probably need to change what you're sharing to
Yeah.
screen.
I need to do that. Hold on.
I didn't think I'd ever hear Woody getting technical advice.
watch my eyes start to glaze over. Yeah. There we go. We can see now.
There we go.
All
nice
right.
one.
So this folder in the server profile directory that, basically every server has, like you have your logs in there, so on, will include all the settings for DayZ Expansion. And in this case, we want to take a look at the book settings here. And we have like... it's pretty boring, just material stuff, as you can imagine. The crafting categories with all their results, basically, that you can configure to make the system use of custom recipes, as far as I'm aware of, right, Liquid?
Yeah, basically the way it works is you just enter the result of the recipe into the category where you want it displayed, and it will automatically show the recipe under that category. And if you don't want that, then it will, I think it will get sorted to a miscellaneous category. I'm not sure.
Okay.
That's how it should work.
That's very nice.
That is actually.
Oh yeah, if it's not in there, I think it will be excluded. Yeah.
Well, as you can see, all is based on a called JSON format that gets generated by the first startup. What we have also made sure now, as far as it got tested from our testers in the community, it works pretty well also, is also whenever you change from stable, so from the current stable update to 1.6 whenever it gets released, and we have made any setting changes, or let's say a different setting has been renamed, then the file gets altered. Your changes get taken over to the new setting file, and you don't have to mess with the settings anymore. What was always a problem as soon as it came to changes to these files, because as soon as we changed something there, people most of the time had to wipe that file to get the changes or apply the changes manually, what always caused questions and so on in our Discord. And
so that was a pain in the ass.
kind of quality of life feature we added there.
Spud's a great guest to have on, because he used Expansion Mod and moved away from it because of some of the issues with it, didn't you, Spud?
Yeah, look, we've used it twice when it came out, and it was fantastic, and you guys did a great job. But even configuring it for a hardcore, while it was difficult, it was still possible. But I mean, the main reason, and some of the stuff I absolutely loved, like DanceofJesus map edits, I just love them. But when it came to the performance, they just weren't viable. In fact, we went through a period of we'd apply them at the start of the wipe, and then as the wipe progressed, we'd have to start reducing them bit by bit, just so we could enjoy them some of the time. But we moved away from it simply because of a lot of the mod conflicts. So certain portions of it that just conflicted with other stuff that we just wanted to use, and in the end it just became too much of a drain on our time and also the server performance. We went back to it, I think it was 1.1.1, and had another go with it. But again, similar things that cropped up again, so we drifted away from it again. But some of these changes are looking very promising.
So what's it like now running with other mods? Is there still a lot of those mod conflicts, Steve?
Well, we can't say that the mod will run with every single mod. Like it's hard to say, but thanks to that possibility of that's pretty boring material stuff again here. Pre-compiler definitions that also a lot of mods use already that are
It's good that you guys are breaking it down into smaller packages, though, because I remember that was one of the biggest bits of feedback a lot of people were quite vocal about, that it's a great idea, but releasing it all as one, it's all in or nothing mod, a lot of people were very critical about. So it's good you guys have listened to the feedback and are breaking it down into more manageable parts that, you know, people can take this but don't have to have this and so on. And hopefully that'll mean less conflicts, you know, people, communities like Spud. Sorry, what's this? You haven't told him about about bundle then?
Bundle. Well, that's still a thing. Like, there is still an all-in-one package, basically. If you just wanna say, okay, I want it all, let's get it. Then you basically have the bundle and the license mod and the other requirements like community framework and depth framework on community online tools. And then you have again the full package, but it's like not necessary anymore.
Right. And going back to the previous question in terms of mod conflicts, what is DayZ Expansion's mindset now on helping other mod creators on the platform for their mods to be compatible with expansion? Because I know in the past, when I helped run a server, we were running it with a bunch of mod conflicts, and we were wondering if the team could help, and they basically said no, go away. Has that attitude changed, I would assume, since then? Because if so, brilliant. But if not, then I can still understand a lot of criticisms that the expansion team used to get in terms of that.
I mean, I can understand that people think that we have that attitude, but we basically always hear to the problems when they so when there was any mod conflicts. Give me a good example. I don't know, what is it?
I'm just trying to think. Just an example mod.
Like, it was always hard to do that because we never.
People are saying.
Yeah, a good example. That's now fixed on experimental, actually. Like, you had that issue where you don't had the options on the top. The only issue that we might still have to look into, as far as I got reported from a community member from us, is whenever you aim with a gun and lean, it seems to look different whenever expansion is loaded with as visual and as gunplay. Than when you just have vanilla and visual gunplay and as gunplay loaded. But we had no time yet to look into this.
Right. Okay. So basically, like, the answer to the question is, like, if somebody was to approach the team, ask about it, politely, is there any possibility when you have time to help me with mod compatibility, you'll sort it?
Yeah, sure. Like, it's always for sure a thing of the time and when we can look into it. And it's sometimes also things get just lost in the Discord, or over time. We work on so many things. Like, look at recent pushes to our GitHubs and what we have done the past month. It's actually insane, and people still provided feedback, especially to the market, and we wanted to implement that also. So things are always difficult to handle just right now.
Yeah.
But sure, when there is a hard problem within the mod conflict, we don't want to see that. So and it's also a thorn in our eyes. And if we can fix it and find a problem, or if you know about an issue and find a problem, just let us know, we implement it.
Yeah, yeah,
and like,
exactly.
like Tomirian's saying in chat, just don't rock up in Discord going, fix your shit, and it goes a long way. Like you said before, be polite.
Definitely, yeah.
Don't be a twat about it. Like, because, I mean, you know, I've had people approach me like with the whole refix your fucking mod, and it's like, just because you said that, I'm not going to. I'm going to be that twat. You know, fuck you. Like, have that common courtesy for your fellow modder kind of thing.
Look, one thing I want to say for you, Steve, as well, is one of the benefits for expansion that I see is it's a simple mod for someone who might be entry level into running a server to be able to download and have one point of contact. Or it'll add a hell of a lot of different features, not all of them, but a lot. And it's a great place to start for being able to start learning about. You talk about JSON files and XML files and things like that. It's probably a good point to start for a lot of people who are just starting to run a server. Instead of having 20 or 30 different mods from different mod creators and all the rest of it, and having to go to so many different Discords, you could download the expansion mod onto your server, have some really cool functionality, base building, trader, helicopters, extra vehicles, extra guns, the party system, territory management, and only have one point of contact. So keep that in mind if you're entry level, like I was, and running a mod.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we have a very great and big community, and people like Tomirian, that is in the chat, that are, always supportive, try to help, even if they don't respond immediately. If you have a problem, if it affects your server, sure, most of the time it's hard, but when you have a working environment already with the expansion and run into an issue, it's most of the time right now an user, let's say user error, unless we really pushed something really bad to experimental right now. Yeah. But that's why we do that experimental phase, that we make sure, it's stable.
Yeah, you need that feedback at the end of the day about whatever you produce. You don't want to just stick it stable and then be like, oh, shit, it's not actually working. Yeah, exactly. So, can fully, sympathize with that. So it's good that you actually do it the proper way, so to speak. You push it out in the experimental. You get the feedback you need, fix as much of stuff as you can based on that feedback, and then the rest of the general public can use it. So...
Exactly. Otherwise, it's really hard to find the problems, because if I work on a certain thing on expansion and it's somehow, let's say, multiplayer related, like here our party system and so on, you have a list like with all the players. So if you want to, like a global list or just the nearby players, also optional as always, you can't really test it by yourself on your local environment. You need another player to test like every certain aspects of the system. Yes. If this invite gets sent correctly, if he receives the invite, if what happens if he accepts the invite, so on. You can't just test that by yourself when you do something like this. And I can't just always ask, let's say, Lava, hey yo, I need your help. Can you test this with me, because he's probably busy with some other stuff. Today we had the chance to really work on something together, but that's not often the case.
It gets even more difficult. I mean, we are on the same time zone, but when I'm not available, it already gets a lot more difficult because the other people are not in the same time zone. So
Yes, time zone
That's,
rubbish.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
I just put the expansion Discord link in both the YouTube and Twitch chats for those who wish to join it to find some more as well. So, yeah, I'm very happy to hear you guys are back on track, Steve. You know, it was like what's happening with it. A lot of people were, well, that was big while it lasted, and it's great to hear you guys haven't given up on it because, like I said, when expansion first started becoming known of, it was massive for DayZ. It was massive. You know, so many people. You guys carried a lot of weight on your shoulders, a lot of weight that probably put a lot of stress on you as a team. But, yeah, it's great to hear things are still going strong, mate.
Yeah, we are happy with our results, and hopefully people will be also happy about it as soon as it's released. But make your own opinion.
Yeah, naturally, always make your own opinion, no matter like how much work you put into it. You can make an absolute masterpiece, like no like problems at all, and you'll get some also like shit. So,
True, yeah.
yeah, so just keep up the good work, lads. Definitely going to be looking out for a good server that uses expansion. You said the experimental servers are open, yes, or was I mistaken?
I mean, this server I'm playing right now here is actually public.
Right.
So you can join it. I can even post the IP and so on. But it's, allocated in Germany, so don't expect the best ping. But you can always host your own experimental server if you want to. Like, we have make sure there is a workshop item, a collection, basically, with all the mods you need on the workshop. Hold on. Yeah, this collection right here. Like, it includes all the stuff, but you can, like I said, also just use the bundle and licensed and the other requirements like CF, COT, and DF to just test it out. Yeah. Mission files are also available to test out the traders for Gennaros by default. So there's default trader spawns and trader camps for the Gennaros Plus map.
Awesome,
man. Very, very, very awesome. I'll try and, when I've got time, I'll try and check it out and try and give you guys some feedback.
Well, we are on to the rest of the agenda now, folks, and we've talked very PC heavy, but we had our console special last week, but something came up in the comments from the video on that about a topic that absolutely blew my fucking mind. Now, I'm going to share a screen here. I did another one of my lovely polls that I love to do, but it's a great way of getting good feedback from people. And it was about a problem that was unique to console. Now, we sort of have this issue on PC, but on PC, as far as I understand, unless someone's done a workaround, and please don't say if you have, if you want to have multiple accounts of DayZ, you've got to buy multiple copies of DayZ and have different Steam accounts with them linked. You can't just create different profiles. But on consoles, now, from what I understand, on an Xbox alone, you can have up to 33 accounts on that one console. And each one of those accounts is a different instance of the game. So, the theoretical example is you could raid a base and there are 5 people defending it. Each you have 10 plus alt accounts logged into that base. So every time you kill someone inside that base, they then log off of that account, join back up to the server with one of their alt accounts, and you're basically fighting a monster army. Now, in the poll here, the majority of people said they only have their main account. 90 people, 2 to 3. 30, 3 to 5, but 47 people said they've got 10 plus accounts. This blew my mind, Marks. How is this a thing for DayZ?
Kind of leg attack. What the hell?
Yeah, it seems like the game is. I don't know what the technical way is. It's not linked to the one account. It seems like it's linked to the console.
Yes.
So then anybody who has the game on that console then can just log into the account. It's just a problem with console. I don't know if there's a workaround for it. I think there
is by PC.
True. Yeah, I agree with that.
yeah, that's it, really, isn't it? But I mean, yeah, because I was just reading some of the comments there on the Reddit post, and some of the comments made sense. You know, like one guy, you had an account for himself, one for his girlfriend, and one for his friend and whatnot, and that seems perfectly fine. But then you get the people who openly admit they abuse it because somebody else does it, and it's like, that's not really a sound mindset to have. It's like, it's like this person done this one thing, that means I can do it. It's like, well, no, not really. That's not how it works. But at the same time, they haven't fixed the exploit. So yes, people are going to abuse it, and if they have no intentions to, then like what do people expect? As horrible as it is to say, it's like you've got to expect that kind of stuff.
Yeah, if it's there, they're going to use it.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get the ones like this. Me and my clan of 10 dudes all have 3 to 4 different accounts to defend the base.
And it's like, yeah, I don't even know what to say on it, to be perfectly honest. Like, what more really can be said? It's like people who use the alt accounts, it's just a fact of console DayZ, that the person you just killed will probably come back in a few minutes on an alt account and kill you, and it's like, it's just one of those things that you have to deal with on console, and until they patch that, until they make it so it's only tied to the account and you can't do anything the console equivalent of game sharing or anything like that, then this problem is always going to be there, and there's nothing any of us here can do,
no,
apart from raise awareness. But it's like everybody knows about it, so
I don't think they're going to fix it.
I don't.
Yeah, they have too much stuff to do. They're not going to fix it, and people are going to do it. And there's nothing you can do to stop them. It's just going to keep happening. So
yeah, but from a commercial point of view, that must be costing them a fortune.
Yeah.
I mean, as you said, Boydie, my girlfriend, my brother. All those are people that could have potentially bought the game if they didn't have this ability to do this.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite interesting. I thought if BI had any incentive to fix something, well, that's it.
Yeah, they would have done it a long time ago by now, but they haven't. And I mean, the console DayZ has been out since 2019.
It's about 3 years or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And the fact that they still haven't fixed it, I mean, yes, I know DayZ is DayZ, what do you expect? But, I mean, come on, something as simple as that major exploit, it could probably solve a lot of the duping exploits as well, if you just tie it to the account instead of the console. So, what can we really do?
I was just stunned. Yeah, when someone explained it to me, and it was like, as you said, there are some perfectly legitimate uses of it, but it brought me back, and I've shared it many a time. I did a video on my YouTube channel years ago, probably 5 or 6 years ago, about why you need a second account for DayZ, and I just hadn't considered the implications of it. And 110%, I'm sorry, you can play DayZ however you want, but if you're using an alt account for nearly even some of the reasons I keep one at the coast for nails, or I keep one in case I die to a glitch or something like that. Yes, that sucks, but you're really at its core breaking the one thing that makes DayZ so unique, and that's permadeath. That's whether you're playing a PvE server, a PvP server, an RP server, it's that fact of dying and losing everything that even base building to some extent removes some of the, but it's still, that character's dead. And everything on him, unless one of your mates is there, everything on him is gone. by having these alts, you're removing the thing that makes DayZ so special. You're really not playing DayZ anymore, in my opinion, Steve.
Good question. Well, I actually have not really the time to play it. Like, it's hard to find the time.
Yeah,
but if you're playing like that, Steve, you're really not playing DayZ anymore, are you? You're playing
No.
You're playing DayZ Lite.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Sure, it's like when you take that whole permadeath away from that kind of gameplay, it's not DayZ anymore. Then you can also like implement, I don't know, sleeping bags or shit like that you can place around like in Rust and yeah.
But even then, you've still got nothing on you when you spawn. It's like that's the thing. Like no matter how much modding has come ever since modding was released for DayZ, if there's one thing that no mod has ever really changed, it's the permadeath kind of aspect. Like once your character dies, that's it. It's gone to the abyss. It's like, yeah, sure, if your mate gets your loot, fantastic. You can still run back up there, but the fact is, you still died. You still lost everything. You still have to start from scratch to get to that point again. Either for you, like playing the game or having a friend there. Having a bunch of alt accounts with a loadout, it's just like, I'm sorry, if I wanted to play something like that, I'd play Call of Duty. Like, if I die, yeah, sure. And yeah, sure, it's just ridiculous. And people seem to forget about that. People get way too attached to their gear. And that's just one of the unfortunate side effects of playing DayZ is gear fear.
I mean, that's a real exciting part.
Yes.
That brings the adrenaline into your blood. Like when you're really geared up with your fat character and you get in like a military area, it's always,
Even on the PvP servers, hey, Mark.
Wow.
Even on the PvP servers that you play a lot, it's still that permadeath risk of losing it all that makes those combat moments so intense, doesn't it?
Not so much on the PvP servers because you spawn back in and after a 5-minute run, you're fairly geared again. But on the less PvP servers where they're a bit more hardcore, it can be. But on the PvP ones, not really, no. But there's no need for anybody to have not even one alt account. The only time a person needs an alt account is if they run a server and they want to have one for the adminning and then one that they can just hammer down. Otherwise than that,
I do have one example.
Shit, you don't need it.
I do have one example, and that is for a player-run trader, where I considered, and I never ended up doing it because I still remember how much heat I copped over the Lone Wolf account video I did. But I did plan on putting my second account in so that if someone messaged the trader and said, "Is anyone there to do business?" I could log out of my other account and log back in as the trader and be there for opening for business. But I never ended up doing it. But that's probably one of the only examples I can think of where it might be viable. Other than that, and the admin one,
have to be a very dedicated RP or survivalist to do that. That's a lot of dedication. But.
I mean, I know of one person who specifically uses an alt account between staff work and player, and that's Dumpgra.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Yeah, like he's the perfect example for that. Yeah, but I mean, like when it comes down to it, it's like even then he's still paid for another account. That's more money for Bohemia, and it's like it's the right way to do it. You're trying to do good by your community and you're helping support in the game in some shape or form. But when you've got like 10 plus alt accounts on your fucking console, just because you might die is like mate, get off your fucking high horse. Come on, don't be a twat now.
You're missing the point of the game, folks. You're missing the point of the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Marks, you did a really good video on Takistan, which we just got to see some footage of as well, watching Steve's video. But Yeah, some again here on PC, mate. We are spoiled for choice. What are your thoughts on it?
It's a tricky one. It's nice to have a map that isn't green, but it's also there's not much in between of towns, if that makes sense. Like between like one of the airfields, there's 2 airfields on the map, and between one of the airfields and a town, there's nothing but desert and valleys the entire way. If you don't have water foot on it, you will die before you get to those to your destination. Getting out of the spawn towns is incredibly difficult. Good. As pretty much all the loot is gone, and freshies are killing freshies. I noticed on the server I was playing on, and then on I heard some other people were saying as well that the loot is messed up. Some people were saying they looted, tons of military barracks and a military compound, and all they found was an IJ. And so I don't know if that's just something with new servers starting up and whatnot. We'll have to see how that goes down the road. But
I think that's more so to do with the new map starting up. The loot economy is never going to be that great when a map is first released. Yeah. So you just got to give that kind of like aspect time. So I've heard similar things when it comes to Takistan. I've only played 30 minutes of it because that's all the time I literally had to play it. And my first impression was it's okay.
It's okay.
I mean, it's not so bad. I mean, I'd have to play it to get more of an opinion of it. But for my first 30 minutes, it was like, the loot was a bit. But again, that I've already explained why. I experienced the sandstorm, which was quite neat. I thought it was really, really cool. I like the fact that it did damage you when you went into it, and it would drain your hydration. The only thing I would suggest, and I don't know if this is going to happen, and I don't know if the creator of the Takistan Plus map is even here, but have it so it's a lot hotter, like Namalsk has when it's like with its cold. Because right now it's like, yeah, sure, you're playing on a desert like kind of map. You've got the nice little like lighting changes, so it looks more like you got the sepia kind of tone, like that would portray it to be a desert. But it's not hot.
Yeah,
it's not hot at all. It's like, and like you want to, like with Namalsk, how you want to try and get the warmest clothes. You want to try and get the clothes on Takistan with like the lowest insulation, so you can keep cool.
Yeah.
So that's what I would recommend to change. But I mean, again, I'd have to play it more to get more of an opinion on how like the map actually functions, and what it's trying to go for. But
there was a thing when you mentioned the sandstorms. The server I was playing on was what one was it? I can't actually remember. Hang on. It was one of these more kind of hardcore servers. It was Endzone. It was on the Endzone servers. Right. There was only like 10 servers that maybe were up the first day of launch, and in the space of about 45 minutes, I think we ran into 5 sandstorms, just one after another, after another, after another. And for a new player because I was a new player at Takistan, I don't really know it. On a new player that has a map that is all yellow, then my screen's been covered in more yellow with these sandstorms. I was running around circles for an hour, and I just ended up having. I had to leave that server and go play, like try and find a different server, just to get away from the storms, because it was just constant. Every 5 minutes there seemed to be another storm brewing, and that kind of ruined it for me. So I'm hoping that isn't the map, and it was just that one server. I mean, was doing that, but
yeah. I mean, if it is the map, then yeah, okay. I mean, best report that to the
it was
map creator. Yeah. So
some good feedback in the comments on the video. I did like this one by Mike Daone. The vanilla Takistan, in my opinion, is pretty terrible for DayZ in its current state. It's just not a well-balanced map or playing experience overall. There's no guns that spawn in the civilian houses. All of the spawns are set up in the middle of nowhere, but also right next to a tier 4 airfield in the hills, and the mountains are, for the most part, totally empty. And the sandstorm happening every 30 minutes just makes it more annoying than fun. The fun part about Takistan would be fighting in the hills, the valleys, having huge open sniper fights across hundreds of meters, but there's literally no reason to ever travel into the hills or valleys. So when you spawn, you are left with pretty much 3 options. You either go to the northern airfield, go to the southern airfield, or go explore the 30 towns and villages that all look and play identically. And this isn't me just moaning or trying to be negative. I know that the guys behind this map put a lot of time and hard work into it, and they did a good job of recreating Takistan. But Takistan is just not a good DayZ experience. I'm a map editor myself for a server, and I've spent all week coming up with new ways to try and make Takistan more enjoyable, and I'm confident that it can be done. But the devs behind Takistan really need to spice it up a lot, in my opinion, before it will compare to any other map that's available. Best way to do it is to add several new big compounds and points of interest, and then add a shit ton of life to the hillsides, hilltops and valleys to give players a reason to actually go to those areas, opening up the possibility to have those long-range, cool as fuck Takistan gunfights. Then this map will be great. Now, I haven't played it yet, but I've heard that feedback from a lot of people that there's just so much nothing.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it is a desert. What do you expect? But I mean, see, that's the thing, though. I mean, once you're geared, then you do have a purpose to go into those hills and valleys to snipe other geared players and even freshies if you're that, you know, you're
But
feeling
they're not
that
going to be
kind of
out there,
scummy,
though.
but-
They're all going to be loitering around the towns or the bases.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose, yeah, but I mean, you could use the same argument with pretty much any other map. You know, the map's nothing but forests, for example. It's like it's just the same thing over and over and over again. They're just empty. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, it's you're kind of gonna have a lot of emptiness in a map. That's the whole point. If you're not going to expect a map to be full of intricate, interesting things every like 5 yards, that's just not the point of, you know, the map. But I understand what Mike Doherty is saying in that comment. That at least I think I understand. But right now, all we can hope is that the map gets further developed more, so more stuff does get added, and more features become more present to make it a lot more engaging. Because right now, obviously, it's just not long come out, and as we all know, with like every map that's come out for DayZ is a mod. It's not always there. Deer Island, for example, when that first came out, in effect, it could walk through buildings, and it wasn't that good, and the map wasn't even finished. It still isn't finished, as far as I'm aware. And then you got Namalsk, which was, you know, it was okay. It was quite polished, but you expect so. It's some rack. Like, need I say more? And heck, even with Extracare, you know, that's definitely not final, and there's still a lot of stuff that needs to be worked on. But you can only hope that it does continue getting attention development, as long as people report issues to the developer.
Now, I have to say, Marks, are you becoming that man?
No.
My God.
That was a stupid fucking comment. That pissed me off.
When
that
I
comment.
read this, it was just insane.
I was about to ban him. I was very tempted. I didn't, though.
Yeah, it was... Wow.
Pissed me off.
It was a funny moment. I laughed when I saw that in the intro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that comment annoyed me.
Oh, unbelievable. What about you, Spud? What are your thoughts on Takistan?
Look, I like it. I was on the Takistan test site for quite some time, just seeing whether it's something we wanted to run, and kind of a lot of the comments that have been made kind of why we didn't run one. They've obviously gone to a hang of a lot of effort, and it looks really good. And for what it is in terms of a desert map, yeah, they've hit the mark, but there is a lack of points of interest. And it is a big open space. And I think it is slightly different from the likes of Livonia, where Livonia gets the same comments of, you know, it's just endless forest. But there's still, I think, a lot more opportunity to develop it. Whereas here, I think with Takistan, it only kind of feeds one play style, which is PvP. And it does provide something different there in terms of a lot more open PvP with not a lot to hide behind. So I think for what it's kind of, it's meeting one market. I just don't think it's going to corner the whole market, and I personally think it will be a short time lived thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and I don't think there's a lot of ways to. I mean, you can certainly add stuff to it, but the thing and the challenge for people adding to the map is keeping it within keeping as well, because obviously a lot of the native DayZ assets won't necessarily fit terribly well. But the likes of there's some of the maps, but to be honest with you, I'm probably a little bit biased because when it comes to a lot of the modded maps, we haven't really run a lot of modded maps. I mean, the only maps we've run for DDU have been Chernarus and Livonia. And we've only just recently put on Livonia, but to change that up, we've changed the spawns to the south, and because of the hive system, you go to the western edge of Chernarus, and you then arrive on the southern edge of Livonia. We've reversed the spawns, all the crap loot's on the south, and the good stuff's in the north, and we've got a radiation zone. So it's actually just tweaking things. So it might be that somebody does this sort of stuff to Takistan over time, but it'll remain to be seen.
Yep. The vanilla map itself will probably, like you said, fade away. But there'll be some servers that will modify it somehow, and it'll become part of that server's culture and lore. And hats off to them. I'm still yet to try it. Going through a bit of a scum phase at the moment, but I'll definitely be getting on and having a look at it just for something different. I did like some of the custom models, and when you were looking at the tents as well, Marks, how they've made the tents yellow instead of green, and like one of the comments said. Finally, a reason for some of the US Army brown clothing finally has a purpose. You'll be able to blend in better.
Too right. Yep.
Scroll back up. Now I need to just. This is a comment that we had in chat, and it sort of is a little bit related in that, with the environmental issue. Now, what's the point of night and rain? Just to log and wait it out? Do DayZ devs not see a problem with 99% of servers limiting or removing weather and the day-night cycle completely? This is a comment by one of the people in the Discord, zeScarecow. The only pro of playing during rain or night is the sheer fact that the entire server just left the game. People wonder what it would be like if DayZ had a season rotation. What would happen if just a handful of servers running it? Maybe some niche picks like Demolsk or some of the survival enthusiast servers. Why add brutal season conditions when you can't keep a server alive during the 5 minutes of rain or the 20 minutes of night? Now, I thought this was an interesting discussion, but I love the rain and the nighttime cycles. It's when it starts going dark. I love playing DayZ. One of the main reasons for me is the range that the infected can detect you drops. So it's almost safer, not just because there's less people on, but it's harder for the infected to pick you up. And if you've got a basic understanding of how to survive, get a heat buff or wring your clothes out and dry yourself off afterwards, you don't need to worry about getting the flu. And the flu doesn't really do anything to you in any case. But I thought it was an interesting discussion. What do you reckon, lad?
Mate, I've been waiting for this topic. I think people who complain about rain and nights need to get good. Straight up, they need to get good. Like DayZ, it's a survival game. You're always going to have that day-night cycle. You're always going to have different and adverse weather conditions. The whole point of it is you have to adapt to your surroundings. You have to adapt to the weather in order to be able to survive effectively. And honestly, I wish all servers would run the darker nights setting where everything is purely pitch black, because there's no light pollution. Everything is going to be pitch black, apart from obviously what is there in the moonlight. And when it comes to the rain, honestly, I wish they would improve it. I wish they would go back to what it used to look like in 0.62. Back then, it looked beautiful and it sounded really, really nice. But we got what we have now, which it's not bad, but it's definitely been better. But going back to the actual topic, it's like, just get good.
Well, I did forget that he did elaborate on it. And this is why I singled it out as a comment worthy of discussion. I think DayZ rewards risk aversion in this sense too much. Why engage in a gunfight if you can just log? Why fight a wolf pack after they howl when you can just log? Why do anything when you can just log and ask a friend to pick up the slack and meet you where you're at? I think DayZ needs to work on its soft skills and integrate a way to profit off your own suffering. Add a multiplier to playing in the rain. Make it so that when you survive a medical condition, you're less likely to suffer from it. I think soft skills can add pros to playing in life-threatening situations. Maybe a hardiness meter. Maybe you can carry more weight. Hell, maybe your beard grows faster or longer. Something to reward those who play in adverse conditions, not hinder those who do not. Now, Steve, I think there's some merit to what he said there.
I mean...
Yes, all right. Go on.
No, you go on, mate. Go on.
A lot of stuff that he says there would bring like a lot of more life into servers, let's say in like, let's say, nighttime situation and so on, because it gives you like a real reason to go through this certain situation. So I really like what he says there and totally agree with that DayZ needs something like this.
Anything that will make you value your character's life more, Spud, is a win in my eyes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and the thing is, look, half of me actually agrees with Lad, and that anybody who logs off at night or doesn't like the rain should get good. But the other half is, our server last night went from 100 pop to I think it was 40 when nighttime arrived, and we only have nighttime for 20 minutes. And so I think whilst there's a certain percentage of the player base that actually do enjoy night, and we won't get rid of it. We're going to carry on with it. Yes, I think we do have to find a happy medium around actually trying to attract other people to stay on the server during nighttime and experience the full DayZ experience, including nighttime. I mean, I even saw a new person in our Discord the night before last night. I just had to bite my tongue when his comment was, "Oh, the night's so dark and it's so long. I couldn't see anything without a light." And I'm like, did you fucking go outside at night time, mate? It's like, seriously?
See, no. I don't want to sound too rude, like when it comes down to it, but like, I definitely agree that DayZ needs to really start to focus a lot of attention on its soft skills to make them actually work as effectively as possible. Make it so you definitely benefit from nighttime runs. I mean, there's quite a few benefits in terms of the PvE aspect and PvP aspect of traveling during the night and during the rain. But you can't. How do I explain it? No matter what the DayZ devs do, no matter what modders do to try and make nighttime perfect as possible, people are not going to play it. People are going to look because it's too difficult for them, because they just don't know how to play it. And it's like, again, just there's been, I don't know, I can't find the right words without being extremely rude. Fuck.
You're missing out on part of the DayZ experience, Marks, is what I reckon.
You are.
Yeah, it depends what server you're on. Like when I do be on the vanilla servers and it comes nighttime, like nighttime of them are long, like they're very long. And depending on the vanilla server, it's really dark, and most of the server does be empty by the time nighttime rolls around. So it's like you have to kind of like, as me as a player at that stage, I'm mainly when I'm on the official servers, I'm looking for PvP. So do I sit and wait to try and find somebody around, which is going to be very hard because they're either sitting inside or logged off, or do I log off, go to a different server that's daytime, and then switch back in 40 minutes to that server again when everybody's after logging back on? But like if you're on a PvP server where MVGs are easy to find and stuff, then people are not going to log off as much. I think anyway, but I could be wrong.
I mean, when it comes to like the night vision aspect, night vision is really bloody cool, and I think all servers, no matter if it's fully PvP, like 1,000,000% loot or whatever, I don't fucking care. NVGs should always be at a minimum. They are like the ultimate kind of tool to have on your character, and you will have a really, really good advantage. Only with certain optics, though. Obviously, the only Russian optic that allows night vision is obviously the big, massive fucking one that you could probably knock somebody out with. The fact that there isn't an American one or NATO is weird, but there you go. But darker nights or rain or just night in general, it is such a core part of the game. And if people actually sit down and give it a chance, you might actually find it to be really beneficial for you and your squad, especially if you're doing PvP. You're able to get around a bit quicker at night because people can't really see you unless obviously they have NVGs, which means you can get to places much more safely to get really, really good loot. You're much more safer when you're looting Northwest Airfield, for example, and compared to the daytime. But people don't really think about that. They're just like, oh, I can't see 10 feet in front of me or whatever. And obviously this is me just being a bit sarcastic. I'm going to log off and play another server. And it's like, what is the point? Like, I just don't understand it. There's a lot of things that I try and understand when it comes to a DayZ player, because DayZ, you can play it in so many different ways. But the nighttime and the rain, I can't fathom. I just can't.
Well, the probably the best comment in this whole discussion in the Discord was from Melbourne. I agree that there should be more reward and soft skills, but it comes down to skill. Rarely have I not been able to find NVGs on official. And if you give your character the necessary nutrients, you virtually cannot get sick. I can count on my hand how many times I've logged because of the conditions. What would be helpful is if the community shared more helpful information like this. And he linked to Wobo's video. And he's bang 110% on the money. People need to learn to play DayZ. I'm sorry that you were avoiding being offensive. I'm going to be offensive. Get fucking good. Get good. I die to players. I rarely die to the elements. Usually if I die to the elements, it's because I made a stupid mistake. I rushed it or something like that. No. That's on me. That's not on the game. If you don't like that, go find a baby server that makes it fucking easy, where you can, you spawn with a fucking bag of rice and fucking a full water bottle or something like that. A little bit of research. Yeah, you've got these videos. Archie Stormcloud did a whole pile of videos on how to survive cholera. Even those diseases that for 99% of the player base are fatal, you can survive them. You can beat them. I think it'd be great is if you beat cholera, you get a better immunity to it. That'd be a really interesting little soft skill. Again, it'd make you value your character more. Maybe I'm being too harsh. What do you reckon, Marks?
I think people just need to build a bridge and get over it, and just that's why we have so many different servers. You don't want the rain, don't like the night. There's a server there for you. If you like the rain, they like the night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. You are right there. Yeah,
I think at the end of the day, people will play the game the way they want it. Maybe it's not the way we all agree. Mm-hmm. But that's the reason we have different servers, and I think just leave people do what they want. And
at the end of the day, no matter how much Boydie and I complain about players not wanting to play at night, at the end of the day, you are right. DayZ, it's one of those few unique games where you can play any way you want, and if you only want to play in daytime servers, go for it. I mean, as you said, Spud, you only have nighttime for 20 minutes, was it?
Yeah.
20 minutes, and people still think that's too long. It's just like, whatever. But yeah, you are right. You are, at the end of the day, you are right. But I still think people are missing out on nighttime gameplay. Really, at least they need to give it a full, proper shot before they can make a full judgment. But that's just me. That's just how I think.
A lot more important things in the world to be worrying about than somebody needs to be running around in the nighttime and getting wet in the rain in a game that literally...
No. It is a part of life, Marks. Right. Oh, bloody hell.
Now we are on to... Now, this was fucking awesome. Let me hang about. Oh, I'm boomering things. Give me a second, guys.
He was technical for that one point, and that's gone. It's fucked for the rest of it.
Let me just share my screen again. Spud made a comment when I sent him this video, because Spud and I, we chat a lot. Like I said, Spud's like a mentor to me. I wouldn't be half the person I am without him. He one of the things I like about Spud is he gives me cold, hard truths. He's like me in that aspect. He doesn't care if it offends you. He'll just tell you what you need to hear. And he's changed my outlook on things. So, yeah, I respect that about him. And we chat quite often. I don't think there's barely a week goes past where we're not talking about something via DMs, is there, Spud?
No.
No. And I sent him a link to DanceofJesus' video, and he made the comment. I'll let it play, and then I'll say what the comment was. For those who haven't seen this, this is amazing.
I don't think the sound's coming through, buddy.
No, you need to turn the sound on.
If you right click on the video, and you can turn your sound up. Like a sound bar there.
Love that sound of the metal. That just sounds so fucking good. Now, what was the comment you made to me, Spud, about what BI need to do?
Just basically, there's some mods that come out like this that they just need to make it part of vanilla. There's just they just need to sort of like encourage modders by giving a little bit of financial remuneration and making it part of vanilla.
Yep, couldn't agree more. And I scratch my head at some of the things. Yeah, even if they make it just a simple thing in the config files or whatever, you can click a tab and you could have better sounds on or off. Because I did see a comment that, you know, on a vanilla ++ server, a deathmatch server, it would be insane. But at the same time, I think I would love it. It would just be, you know, almost PTSD inducing with the sheer volume of ricochets going around you. And what do you think from a PvP perspective, Marks?
Yeah, it'd be cool because there's some instances, especially with suppressed weapons, you don't know where you're getting shot from for the life of you. But with this, you'll be able to somehow maybe triangulate where you're getting shot from and the direction and stuff. So it could be cool.
And the bottom line is, from first-hand experience, that's how it sounds.
Yes.
In IRL.
Yes. And part of the training in the army is they actually put us down range and they shoot bullets at us so you know what it sounds like. And having been in active service and hearing shots, it gave me goosebumps listening to this footage. It really did. Like a couple of the whiz sounds were, you know, like, oh, okay, that usually happens in a special circumstance. But DOJ's in chat. I've just said for him to jump in if he wants, but he said he means other than old sound that I added, I just turned the volume up. I just think right now the sounds are not utilised correctly. DOJ, this is a masterpiece, mate. And like Spud said, BI need to reach out to you and say, how many thousands so we can add this to the vanilla version of the game, buddy?
Say again, sorry?
BI need to reach out to you and say, what's the price tag for us to be able to add this to the vanilla version of the game?
I mean, it's literally vanilla. That's the thing. Like, there's just like a few old sounds that I brought back.
Yep.
And I just turned the volume up of the snap sound. That's literally it. There's
Sorry,
no magic or anything.
not how many thousands. How many hookers and how much cocaine do you need for the mod?
There we go. The official currency of the world. So, yeah, because DOJ, like you showed me a little like a sneak preview of it some time ago with you in Dab testing it, and it was, and it's so nice that it's actually out of the public. And you probably saw us, but I was just smiling like a little fucking girl when the sound started coming up, and I'm still smiling because it's just so it's so cool. It's so awesome. It really bloody is, and I've yet to experience it firsthand in game because I just haven't had the time to. But just watching that video of the PvP section was just so good. You've done it. I know it's just vanilla sounds, but it's so good. The mod's so good.
Brilliant.
Oh, Lord.
What inspired you to do it, mate?
Well, playing 0.62 again, that was one of the things. Like back then, it was louder, and just PvP, like in the current versions, it's kind of bland. It was missing that brutality that used to be part of the game before.
It adds so much. It's just like you said, Spud. It's realistic. It's almost heart rate. I don't know how to word it. It gets the heart rate going, doesn't it, Spud?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, yeah, it's funny that it is the sounds with just the volume turned up, but it does make so much difference.
And it should be, because, guys, there's unless you've shot weapons in real life, I'm not going to say having been in a combat zone, but unless you've fired weapons in real life, you don't know, without having hearing protection in, you don't know how numbing the explosion of just a round going off next to your face in the chamber of a weapon is. It is deafening. Your ears ring, and the sound of bullets coming at you. I still remember the first shots fired at us in Somalia, and we fucking hit the deck like motherfuckers, every single one of us. And you know what? The round wasn't even fired at us. All we heard was the thump. We didn't hear the crack, but we heard the thump of the rounds being fired, and we all hit the deck. It was only our platoon sergeant who was still standing there going, "You bunch of fucking idiots, it wasn't even fired at us. There was no crack." And the crack thump is, you hear the crack of the round as it goes past you, then you hear the thump of the round being fired, but we all just absolutely shit ourselves. And yeah, we learnt quickly, but yeah, it's definitely an experience at a game like DayZ that's meant to be so hardcore and realistic. How many subscribers have you got? Do you know how many servers are running it now, DOJ?
I don't know how many servers are in. Like, I know Daone is running it on the PvP deathmatch.
Yep.
There's Stalker Z, Kamaku servers, I know for a fact, but right now
we're
it's
using it on extra care.
I just messaged Designful from Rearmed about it as well. So
nice.
What about you, Spud? You going to put it on DDU?
Yeah, I was looking at putting it on this weekend.
Nice.
Put it on and don't tell them. Just put it on and don't tell anyone. Yeah, obviously, some of them will pick up on it when they realise they've got to add this mod, and they'll be like, "Oh, what's this mod?" And they won't know what's happening until the rounds get fired. It'll be golden to see the reactions of people when they have this higher volume sound and all these ricochets and pings, and yeah, it'll be fucking awesome.
I'm glad people like it, honestly.
It's a good mod, mate. It's a solid mod.
It's such a small detail, but it makes a difference. Like, it's insane.
It really is. It's so good. Like, I'm surprised no one's ever thought about it. But to be fair, I've always thought of you right now as the guy that's bringing 0.62 back to modern DayZ.
He's the guy who always has a passion for 6.2.
He is the 6.2 guy.
Yeah.
I just found recently the link of DayZ TV, that had like the old 6.2 map.
Yeah.
It was kind of nostalgic to go back on this one.
Oh, bless. I know for a fact you'll honestly, mate. I wouldn't be surprised if you leave modding once you figure out volumetric clouds. That'll be it. That's your career done.
Man.
Hey, Marks, could you just do me a favor? Could you share your YouTube channel in the YouTube chat as well, mate?
Yeah, I will. Give me 2 seconds.
Awesome. But no, it's one of those, probably, I'll probably say it top 10. If you could only pick 10 mods to add to to make a DayZ server better, I would say this one would have to go in there now because it just adds so much volume to the combat. It's a great mod, mate. Well done. Well fucking done.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Speaking of interesting mods.
Yes.
This blew me away.
Wait.
That is very cool.
Did they fix the render widget or what? How is this even possible?
They literally, from what I've seen, every single frame is a rendered PA.
Microphone activated.
And they're using some kind of script to match up the audio. The audio is a separate thing, and just sync them up. But the main code is behind an obfuscated PBO, so which is understandable.
That's cool.
This, to me, now apparently it is locked to a server pack, so for the German DayZ community. But this, to me, for servers like DayZ Underground, those, and DayZ Down Under, these faction-based roleplay encouraged, interaction encouraged servers, this to me was just a wow. Are you fucking kidding me? The stuff that could be done with, like, DayZ Underground, for example, has these tapes that you can find from the various factions, and you can listen to them on a radio while you walk around. Imagine being able to leave recorded videotapes for other factions. We've got one of your members, we're holding him hostage, and quickly put it to a file and then send someone over with a video message for them, and just... The possibilities were endless for us. Spud, you weren't a big fan of it, though.
No, I wasn't. It's not that I wasn't a big fan. It's pretty amazing. But I could just think of some of the ways it will go. But also, it's interesting when you talk about the each frame being a PAA. I mean, Jesus, I'd be curious what this would do with server performance.
Well, the PAAs, from what I saw, they were very low resolution compared to, say, like what PAAs would be like. Some 124, 512. These are smaller than that.
So for the idiots like myself, what's a PAA? I've never heard of a PAA before.
A PAA file is essentially like the texture of an object, for example, or at least a part of a texture. Like stuff that governs like your SMDI, which is like what your lighting is, basically, like your glossy and your roughness. That's a PAA. Same with how an object can have certain bump techniques to it. Like if you look on the ACOG optic and you look underneath it, you'll see that it's got the pins, for lack of a better word. But if you look at it at any other angle, you'll realize it's not actually there. It's just a flat texture. That's what it is. Anyway, every single frame.
That literally made no sense to me, by the way. I'm still
I know.
my head.
It's so. Fuck. Basically, think of a PNG. Yeah, you best for visual representation, but just think of like a picture. Yeah, it's just essentially another format for a picture that DayZ uses for their textures and whatnot.
So it's not going to be something as easy as just dragging a video onto a file and No, it's a very complex process.
I mean, you have programs that can split a video in like single images. So in this case, what you can do in the workbench and in the editor is
what the fuck is that?
So
import
this is,
all the images.
Yeah, this is so basically you take like the AK-74U and the texture, you put it on a paper, like a flat paper, and this is what you get basically. This is the texture of the AK-74U.
But I can imagine in this case they use just the Infusion image format. What is EDDS?
No, from I mean, there might have in the main PBO, but because that's the one you can't get access to. But in the other PBOs in that mod, it has like different tapes. It's just a config, the audio file, and a bunch of PAs from what I saw.
Right. Okay.
But I would assume, obviously, the main part of it is in that main PBO. So.
But yeah, what I wanted to say, because Bauer said something about server performance, I can't imagine that this takes any performance hits on servers at all, because it's all on client side. It has to be in this case, like the light, the images, everything.
So when you say client side, so what's that going to do to people playing on that server with a low NPC? Are they going to struggle with watching something like that?
I would say so. I mean,
I don't think so.
If it's client side, then yeah, obviously it would dictate. You got a
it
lower
would
NPC.
affect your game performance, indeed, sure, but yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's 4K resolution. That must be like 128, 128 to 56.
Yeah, it's some silly resolution like that. But even so, the continuous changing of that would still, I would assume, it would mess things up. But if you guys can educate me on that, if I am wrong, that would be great.
I still think it's an amazing mod, and it's great to see something like that being developed for DayZ. They did an amazing job with it. Just listening to Steve and Liquid's responses, they were watching it. I guess that was the first time you guys have seen that.
Yeah, for me actually.
Yeah, and it was just great to see you both kind of like, how the hell have they got that working? So it's for guys as smart as you, being impressed by something like that, then for someone as dumb as I am when it comes to the tech stuff, I know that that's something quite monumental that they've made right there. And it would be lovely. I know if I go back to it, I'm boomering again right now, folks. Sorry. There were people in the comments for this. Please contact, like Grandpa, who we've had on before, please contact me regarding the possibility of purchasing this mod. So there were other people just as excited about it as I was. And we all know how excited I get about things. And Mark seems completely unimpressed, as always.
He's just like,
Sorry.
Can we hurry up? I'm tired. I need to get to bed now.
It's all right. It's decent.
It's not really your thing, I know, but for someone like me, that was just, fuck yeah, I could just imagine, leaving fucking ransom notes and threats for players and stuff like that. It's just, I thought it was awesome like that.
It'd be great for events. Yeah.
Sadly, we had a bit of a douchebag move in the DayZ community again. We've covered a similar topic before with the day one copy servers. Zero DayZ Happy Bombs servers. Quick heads up, people. Someone has created a Zero Takistan server that is nothing to do with us. Same server, name as ours, with a few subtle changes that you wouldn't notice at first glance. Make sure you favourite our servers and don't get tricked into joining the fake one. What a fucking dick move.
Yeah, indeed.
I can't.
It's like joining I don't know, different servers and hitting your server address in the I don't know, chat just to attract people to your server. It kind of sad move.
Yeah, it's. What do people get about it? Like, because I know there was the whole situation with the day one servers, which eventually got rectified, but whatever. But there's literally absolutely no point make an original idea.
What annoys me the most about this, though, Spud, is Happy Bombs is one of the nicest guys in the DayZ community. I don't think there's a single person who can say a bad word about him. And for someone to go and treat him with this level of disrespect, that I personally take umbrage at, Spud.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's like a number of things we've said, and it's kind of like the discussion around nighttime, around alts, and all that. If people have the ability to do it, they will.
Yeah.
We've had these copycat servers for DDU previously. I just choose to ignore them, and they eventually go away, as long as the community don't support them as well. But it's just a dick move.
It really is. It's like there's just absolutely no need for it. Stop piggybacking off the ideas of others and try and make something original. Try and do something unique for once. Like
Spud said, Dumpgrass said in chat, make your own name.
Make your own name. Yeah, it's
not easy.
Not that hard.
But nothing in life that's worth it ever comes easy. It takes hard work and effort to get your server. Unless you're a big name person who's got an audience, but even then, that person had to get to that point of being a big name. They had to work hard to build themselves to, look at Lax Hawthorne. It took him years to get to the point he's at now. And now that he's at that point, he's creating his own servers and he's got a great team of people behind him and he's making some good quality servers that are a bit different to everything else out there. Hardcore, but still shits and giggles and all the rest of it. A more lackadaisical approach. See what I did there? Lax Hawthorne, lackadaisical. But yeah, so don't be a douchebag, folks. Don't be a douchebag. We're on to the spotlights now, folks, and this mod caught my eye. This is one that I think servers like you, Spud, and that can really, when you get a naughty boy or girl, rather than just banning them from the server, you can lock them in a prison cell. Instead of having to ban, prisoners will lose their gear and respawn in the cell. Prisoner will not be able to open doors. When the prisoners die, they respawn in their cell again. Prisoner can escape from prison. I think they meant to say can't escape from prison. But yeah, it looked fucking good to me. What do you reckon, Spud?
Oh, I love it. I mean, I've talked about this for a long time. It's funny because Zyson messaged me just before saying it seems sometimes where I come up with an idea or a thought, the next minute somebody's actually made it without me even talking to them about it. This is a classic one where this whole concept of a prison is a fantastic one. When we released our Livonia Hive a couple of weeks ago, we actually had a prison in Livonia. So if you direct connected to the Livonia server, we haven't got it so that you'll get redirected to the Shannara server, that you'd actually spawn inside the prison, and we've put in there spawns and so forth for food, so people could actually live inside that prison. And there's a map, and Zyson's put a map board in there, so you can click on that and it takes you to the Shannara's coast. But we also had the intent there of actually having exactly what this prison does. So if there's people who, minor breaches of the rules, they'll get chucked in there. We had to remove it in the end because our construction wasn't that flash. We went up to DanceofJesus standards, and it was easy to escape it. So, yeah. But it's a fantastic idea, and the way it's been implemented here, it sounds really cool too.
Yeah. So I've linked it in both the YouTube chat and the Twitch chat for anyone if you want to share it with any of the servers that you're a part of. I think it's great. It's a fun way of letting someone know they're in the dog box without having to resort to a ban or something like that. And keeps them in there until they learn that they're a very naughty boy and or girl. 1,000 lashes over the dick with a wet bootlace, and then they can get back into it.
Yeah, it sounds like it's just punishment, to be fair.
I think it's awesome. I think it's absolutely awesome.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Speaking of awesome, Erno's got a new series that he's doing.
Welcome to
basically how to get better at DayZ. I thought it was a fucking good, solid video. The only thing...
It's good.
You watched it as well, did you, Steve?
Not yet, but I have seen it and saw that he had plans to do a series.
I've got to let the video start.
At DayZ.
There's a funny joke.
Now, before we get into it, let me call my good friend Josh, if he's got any tips.
JLK, folks.
Yo, Josh, buddy, I'm making a video about how to get better at DayZ. I was wondering if you have any tips?
Oh, I got loads of tips, man. My favorite of all, admin tips.
Wait, did you just say admin?
I reached out to JLK via DMs on Twitter and I said, mate, well done. Well fucking done. Great little cameo. Great little troll. Embrace it. Embrace it. He's moved well past that, but what a fucking golden little moment. That to me is up there with one of the funniest things in DayZ. I literally laughed out loud watching this video this morning when I was watching it. Kudos to him. Kudos to him. What do you think, Spud?
That's fantastic. Yeah.
It's a good laugh. Just a simple good laugh. But jokes aside, the video has, and he's apparently going to make this into a series. The video has some really good advice for people not just new to the game. I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Probably the only issue I had with the video was he said about make a plan and stick to it. And it's, again, Spud, with your experience as well, mate, make a plan, stick to the plan. There it is there. The best laid plans go to shit once the first shots are fired. Make a plan, definitely have a plan, but you've got to be able to adapt on the fly. Other than that, solid fucking video. Have you watched it yet, Spud?
No, I haven't seen it. Apart from what you showed me.
Yeah. That was about the only issue I had with it. But that probably, I was chatting with Zombie Lee about it, and he said that probably comes from me thinking that's probably not the greatest bit of advice, comes from being a more experienced player. Not so much an experienced PvPer, but for those who've watched me, my tactics are sound. It's just my mechanical skills that let me down. I've got the reflexes of a rusty steel trap. But for this one, it's great advice actually for new players. Make a plan rather than just running in there with no plan at all. A plan is better than no plan at all. So I will agree 110% with that. You're nodding your head, Marks?
Yeah, I always make a plan.
Have you watched this video?
I only watched the start of it.
Yep.
Didn't get to watch it all. But, yeah.
Because he said basically he visualizes things. Like if he's got someone peeking a corner, he visualizes where they're at, and then when he leans back around, he's got this awesome little. I'll actually turn the sound back on and let this part play. Not everyone can do this.
Offline mission file. This is private. I don't know if I'll ever release this to the public, but sometimes I play this when I'm bored, but also when, I don't know, I feel like I haven't played DayZ for a few weeks and I want to get back into it. I'll play this for like an hour or two, and I'll be good to go. So in short, practice. Practice builds your confidence as well. All the stuff you do in deathmatch servers, the stuff I'm doing here, it's all practice. Even if you go into a normal server and you try and headshot every single zombie you see, that's also practice. And I just want to make it clear, there is a difference between confidence and being cocky. You want to be confident. You don't want to be cocky.
Great advice. It's just good, solid advice. What a cool little mod though that he's got though to just do a bit of a warm up before you jump into a PvP sort of server there, Marks.
Yeah, it's cool. I like the idea of it. It's like a CSGO aim training before you go into a game.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of that.
What do you reckon, DOJ? He needs to release that as a standalone file that people could download to their own computers?
Why not, honestly? I mean, there's still like deathmatch servers, but I guess it's a cool little,
just to get the reflexes going. Deathmatch should be good for training your skill, your tactics and that. But once you've got that, mechanical skill that I lack, that would be a great way just to fire up for half an hour before you. I watch PUBG players quite a bit, and a lot of them will go into training mode before they go and do live games, just to get their eye in, to get their hand in, and things like that. DOJ.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, cool little video and a very cool little script that he's got running for his computer there. Not a script that makes it sound like he's hacking. What did he call it again? What is it? Whatever that was.
It's a little mod, really. That he's like a little map he's got going. I mean, just that alone would be really cool for people who want to test out certain weapon mods. If you want to test out certain guns of S gunplay, for example, that would be a really good way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Our community spotlight is on the one, the only. Of course, it has to be DayZ Down Under. I said at the start of the show, I'm just sharing their Discord link in chat. By the way, Spud, Moonshine says hello. He was watching on the YouTube feed.
Hey, yeah, Moonshine. Hope you're doing well, mate.
But DayZ Down Under, guys and girls, is a fucking awesome community, and I cannot go or cannot leave it without being said just how fun the community is now. Like what we talked about earlier with the removing basically a general chat. If you want I won't say 100% toxic free, but if you want a 99% toxic free server to play in the Australian New Zealand region, even if there's people who play it like Moonshine. He's from America and he still plays DayZ Down Under. Other than maybe a little bit of in-game banter. But they don't have one of those communal traders where all the dickheads go and fucking say the most offensive things they can in the safe zone just to piss everyone off. The trader is a not safe zone. So every time you go there, you're risking someone camping you or something like that. But if you want a really good non-toxic experience, I cannot recommend DayZ Down Under enough, folks. It is a fucking good server with a solid bunch of admins behind it. Recently merged with this team from Stranded. So it's not going anywhere in a hurry. You're not closing up shop, are you, Spud?
I'm not going anywhere, mate. Thanks for that.
No, I highest praise for what you've managed to achieve with your community, mate. Despite the best actions of people like myself and FedEx. I remember FedEx back in the day with his what was it? The Chinese national anthem or the Russian national anthem, playing it outside Camp Hope and things like that. You've managed to keep the community united and strong, mate.
Yeah, thanks for that. It's been quite a few years, and we've got a few years left in us, I think.
Definitely. I personally think you'll probably start expanding to other games as well, mate, because you're building a solid core community of like-minded people who just enjoy playing video games.
Who knows what the future holds?
Oh,
yeah, exactly.
That sounds a bit like you're already thinking of stuff. So watch this space, folks. Watch this space. Back to Discord. Boom a moment. BI released their recap. July was marked by soaring temperatures, jaw-dropping thunderstorms, and all kinds of things going on at Bohemia Interactive. They did some stuff apparently on Czech national TV to peek behind our studio's curtains, which was good. But we all really want to know about DayZ. What is going on with DayZ? What did they have to say? We kicked off a busy month by celebrating the 4th of July with our American brothers and sisters. Then we really started cooking with gas when we released update 1.13 on July 13th. Check out the teaser and dive into this blog post. And if you really want to know your stuff, you can peruse the changelog for PC and consoles. We also supported Hotfix 1 that dealt with the surround audio issue on Xbox, and Hotfix 2 which balanced the infected attack range. We announced our DayZ competition winners on July 17th, then watched with all the following day as our Spanish-speaking fans created the Spanish Community Takeover. The event involved one server, 2 weeks, 70 streamers, and 4 exclusive spots on a helicopter that would fly them somewhere safe. We live for stuff like this, which is why we supported the fantastic idea with social shares and stream engagements, along with keys and promo codes for our merch store. Rounding things up, we celebrated Nitrado's 20th anniversary, released DayZ's wallpaper for August, published our monthly community spotlight, and are currently putting together an interview with our junior community manager, Lynn, for an upcoming edition of Meet the Bohemians. Top tweet in July, day 1 out of 14 days done. My Spanish is improving. I'm not even going to try and say that. Creo enti, whatever. Please confirm if it's an appropriate way of saying I believe in you. Big love. Yeah. It was good to see them support because with the keys and stuff like that. I really didn't know that they'd done that, so that was good to hear. Would like to see more of that, wouldn't we, Marks?
Really nice.
Yeah, for sure. We sure would.
So, note to devs, Marks would like some keys and shirts to give away.
They've already given me quite a few, so.
Marks would like some more. And they've always been good with us as well, with giving some codes whenever. Look, fellas, reach out to them and ask. One thing I will say, and this comes from a few of my mates, and I don't know whether you get this same from other content creators, Marks, but you'll have people turn around and say, yeah, I messaged DayZ and they haven't gotten back to me about some codes or keys or something like that. The DayZ Twitter account probably gets hundreds, if not thousands, of DMs a day. Give them time. Give them time and reach out again. Be again like we were talking about with the expansion Discord. Be respectful, be polite. But if you're sitting there on your stream going, "Fuck DayZ, I asked them for codes and they didn't give me none," well, you're probably not going to get any, and you probably don't deserve any. Just be aware, yes, someone who's got, fucking 20,000, 200,000, 500,000 subs on YouTube is probably got special access direct to individual people. But if you're just a smaller creator, be patient. They do support us. We're critical of Bohemia at times, but at the same time, people need to have some understanding. They do a lot. Look at what they did for Doc Satan, Spud. Mm-hmm. He's got a permanent memorial in the game.
That was amazing.
And that was
incredible.
Yeah, they've done that probably half a dozen times so far that I can think of off the top of my head. Put memorials in the game for not even really famous people, just people who were important to a certain community, and they've gone and put a memorial in the game. Not a lot of games. Could you imagine asking fucking EA to put that into the next Call of Duty or something like that?
Well, they definitely wouldn't, because that's not the game they.
Yeah, that'd be very tricky.
I don't fucking know. Is it Activision or whoever? I don't play
It's Activision, yes. Yeah, but you are right. Yeah. That they would. I mean, they do special things depending on how the media handles it and is treated. But when it comes to DayZ, and as was said with what community and member player memorials, it's really, really cool, and it makes you a bit just to sound a little bit sad, it makes you a little bit emotional. It's like we as a community, we give the DayZ devs, we give Bohemia a lot of flack, but we do our labor of love, most of us. And when a notable member of a community passes away, they are like remembered eternally through that, and it's so nice. It really, really is nice.
But do you know, what did Doc Satan's family think of the fact that he's got a memorial in the game now?
They're pretty blown away. I mean, as you'd expect. I mean, yeah, it is probably a different side of his life that they weren't fully aware of. But when they kind of even saw, because they, his brother and sister, they joined our Discord. They saw the level of emotion and what he actually meant to the community. And then when I talked to them about, the size of the DayZ community globally, they were just blown away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. and this guy's got a permanent memorial that 99.9% of people won't know what that little cross with the UN helmet means at the back of the Northeast Airfield. But yeah, as soon as Experimental went live, it was the first place I ran to, was just to go there and just have a look at it. Now, Spud actually created a custom one for the DDU servers, but now there's one permanently that people across the world are going to come across, this cross with a little UN helmet sitting on top of it. And like someone said, Doc would probably think it's the funniest fucking thing in the world.
Yep, he would have loved if they could have actually taken the helmet, though.
Yes, yes. Guys and girls, thank you so much once again for watching the DayZ podcast, episode 71. Huge shout out to our supporters over at patreon.com/878 Survivor FM. Sign up, and as you stay a member, you'll actually get some cool merch depending on which tier you pick. I also want to do a shout out to our new sponsor, Ping Perfect. I've got a link now where if you purchase a channel, they do dedicated servers as well. You just need to create an account, send them a ticket with what you want, and they will create a dedicated server. They just ask for some information on what you would like in the specs and the rough budget you're working with, and a bit of to and fro with them, and they can get back to you. So definitely check them out, folks. By doing so, you'll be supporting the DayZ podcast. A special shout out to our guest tonight, Spud. Thank you so much for coming on, mate. I've wanted to have you on for quite some time, and it's glad to have finally gotten you on for an episode.
Oh, thanks for the opportunity. It's been fantastic. Look, I'd just like a really big shout out to all the modders out there for what they're doing for their community, particularly the community owners. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic, and do appreciate the time and the energy they invest in it.
So that's your spotlight for the month. What about you, Steve?
My spotlight for the month. Good question. I mean, no. I want to shout out a content creator that people probably know, that is Sour Sweet, that I have enjoyed the last week pretty much, because he played on Takistan, and we had a topic before. You can actually see in his streams very good examples why this map has very good potential for a new kind of wide range playstyle of DayZ. But I still agree with the facts that there need to be more point of interests. But just take a look at the streams he had recently.
He's killing it on Twitch.
Yeah,
He really is.
He's live now. He's 1,400 people watching him on Twitch. He hasn't even been doing it a year. Like he's killing it on Twitch. Fair play.
He really is. He really is. I keep getting his bloody shorts recommended to us now on my account. It's just like, oh, I wonder where the hell these came from. He's doing a really good job though. Proud of him.
Yeah.
What about you, Liquid? Anything you want to shout out, mate?
First, thanks for having me, and I will just do a general shout out to everyone, to all modders, and to our whole community.
Modders are the backbone of this game, not content creators, modders.
Absolutely.
Mark, yourself?
Honestly, this week I don't have anything. I'll go to give it to Expansion, because it looks like they're doing more work behind the scenes again, and
Thank you.
Yeah, looking forward to what you do in the future.
Lad, what about you, buddy?
Well, I've been really busy with work and other stuff in my private life, but I want to give a couple of shout outs, if that's all right.
Go for it.
I want to give one a shout out to Geckofish, because his content has been absolutely smashing it. He's made some really cool stuff, also next to K, nudge nudge, wink wink. But I also want to give a shout out to Nitno, who's in the chat. Hello. He's been making some loot run videos for X to K, and I personally really enjoy them. It keeps us just how do I word it? Even though we are in an alpha state, he's given us some kind of like pointers to look into inadvertently with his loot runs and whatnot. And it's a really, really cool way to see how far we've come along as the more videos he makes come up with each and every single update we do. So definitely subscribe to both of them if you haven't already. Really, really cool guys.
Oh, can someone ban them? Got those horrible fucking want to become famous bloody things popping up in chat. But the worst part is it was 3 of them back to back.
Yeah, it's just bots.
I thought you were being botted for a second, don't I?
Yeah.
Had the same bot in my stream today.
Oh, fucking annoying. It's what a bleh, bad taste in my mouth at the end of what was a fucking good episode of the podcast. Yet again, one of my favourite podcasts of all time. It sounds like every week it's my favourite podcast of all time. Although still my favourite. It's a toss-up between when we've had Soma on and Matt Lightfoot. I think Matt Lightfoot takes the cake, though. He was just, amazing.
The Lord, dude.
Just, I like what Jose just said in chat then.
I was just about to say, no
hookers for him.
No cocaine.
Right.
Guys, thank you all so much. My shout out is just to our generous supporters over at patreon.com. You guys go a long way towards keeping this show going, and I can't thank you all enough. Next week, it was funny, your individual shout out there, lad, but next week we have Jad and Geckofish actually coming on the podcast as guests. So very excited for this one. We've rescheduled this one because of that silly football soccer game they wanted to watch, but we finally got them coming back. So Jad and Geckofish are going to be on the podcast next week, and I believe they've got a bit of an announcement to make as well. So yeah, I'm quite excited for that one. Jad, I'm a huge fan of. His After Dark service was one of my favourite DayZ experiences of all time. It was an amazing hardcore server. So yeah, looking forward to having them on, guys and girls. Spud, Steve, DOJ. Oh, actually, DOJ, you haven't had a shout out. What would you like to shout out, mate?
Well, expansion, I guess, but more like I'd say the one, because he's been through some difficult. Yeah, he had a big problem.
Fuck, man.
So shout out to him, and he helped me a lot with a lot of stuff.
Was that a personal problem or a technical problem?
Technical, I
okay.
guess.
Yep. I got a lot of time for the one. In fact, I'm going to do a quick just shout out right now. I want to shout out the behind the scenes people who are on the podcast. DOJ, you're one of them. Don Sibley's another one. Jacob Mango's another one. Foxypote, who's been here since the beginning. You guys really help keep the show going, whether it be from tips, on leads, on stories, and all the rest of it. Yes, you get to see the faces. It's been Brim, Valis Mike, myself, Lad, Marks. But there's always a bunch of people behind the scenes who are doing stuff, whether it be in DMs to me or in the admin chat. I can't thank you guys and girls enough for keeping someone as stupid as me going with enough information to keep doing this show week to week, which is a conversation we've got to have because, Marks and I and Lad have been talking about whether we're pushing the envelope a bit too much with doing it weekly. Whether we would do better to scale it back to fortnightly or, monthly or... Yeah, we'd love to hear from you guys and girls, the community, what your thoughts are. I'm easy either way. I enjoy doing it weekly, but I understand just purely from a content point of view, it might be better if we scaled it back. Marks, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I don't know yet. I don't want to confirm or deny anything on the stream right now because we don't know. So
yeah, but it's something we're talking about. It's something we're talking about, and we would like. The main reason I brought it up is we would like to hear from you, the viewers, whether you're watching this live or whether you watch it or listen to it on the podcast on Spotify or SoundCloud or on YouTube. We want to hear from you guys and girls as to your thoughts on that as well. So, yeah, all the best, everyone, and we will see you next week, same time, same channels, as always, for the DayZ podcast with Jad and Geckofish. Lad, Marks, thank you once again, and our beautiful guests today, DOJ, Spud, Steve, Salutesh. I don't know why I called you Salkutesh in the tweet I put out earlier. Fucking boomer moment. And Liquidrock, thank you so much for coming on, guys and girls.
Thanks for having us.
It's been an absolute joy having you and talking about expansion, just getting to learn a little bit more. So,
yeah,
awesome work.
Keep it up. All the best, and ciao for now.
Take care.
Yes.
Yeah. Bye.
Well,
Good night.
And we are done.